So today we will build this AWP rifle inside SolidWorks. It's from Counter-Strike 1.6 and it's mainly tutorial about assemblies because we will work most of the time inside the assembly. So the only thing that at first we will build this main green body, and later on we immediately open assembly, add this one as a part of assembly, and all the other parts like this barrel, this magazine, this scope we will build inside the assembly. And these parts are here, so it's reassembled. Green main body is first, so of course we will build trigger, and later on we will drop it into assembly, and inside the assembly we will build all the other parts. So, and the best part of the SolidWorks is that you can build everything all together, because once you build your stuff inside the assembly, you will make sure that everything fits together perfectly, and it's a very convenient thing, because if you try to draw it separate as a separate parts, later on when you drop it into assembly you may have big problems, because parts usually do not fit perfectly with each other. But once you build them all together, and for example when I build this barrel, I make some references with this dimension, I make some references that it should like fit up to here and so on. So in this case, when I see all the other parts when I build barrel, in this case I will build it properly, and it will fit everywhere. I will make a special cavity here, for example, let's make it invisible, you'll see. So I will make a special cavity inside the green main body, and we will also make some adjustments like rifling inside the barrel and the proper ending of it. So let's start modeling. Before we start to building anything, we should find blueprints in the internet. You can Google blueprints of the item that you want to build. In this case it will be AWP rifle. So these blueprints is basically view from the side on your model, view from the back side, from front, and from the top. So different views of your model, like this one for example from the top, and you will have it in the blueprint, and you will put them on different planes of SolidWorks, and you will draw your model based on these blueprints. And it's not like a rule, you can place these blueprints in the way you want. These are just recommendations if you have some certain views of similar items. In this case there is a big chance that you will maintain the right proportions, and you will not waste a lot of time in just rescaling everything and so on. So your design will be much faster. And let's give an example of a good blueprint and a bad blueprint, because not every blueprint that you find in the internet is suitable for placing in SolidWorks. For example, like this, or like this, just Google AWP rifle blueprints, and it will show you the paper, and there are pictures from the side, from the front. If you look like from the barrel, from the front, like here, your eye is located here, you look to this scope, and it is this view. If you look from the back side to this scope, it is this view. Okay, it's from one back side, from the one side, from the other side, and it's the view from the top. And in this case it's very important for you to check that it is a proper blueprint. By saying proper blueprint, what I mean, for example, the height here is the same as a height here. You just can see it immediately. It's very important, because if I look at my rifle from here or from here, they should be the right proper height, or it's like maximum distance here. The same, for example, the length of the rifle here is the same as the length of the rifle here. It's also very important that it makes sense in real life, because for some blueprints, like for example for this B2 stealth bomber, it's not the case. If you start adding it to SolidWorks, and if you start making any sketches, you will figure out immediately that length do not just coincide. For example, the length here of the plane is not the same as the length here, and it is a huge problem, because it will make you try to just adjust everything inside SolidWorks, and it's a very bad idea. You should make sure that all these dimensions, for example this width and this width, they are like the same before you add them into SolidWorks. You can cut this one, you can take like Ctrl+C, and you paste it to the new layer as Ctrl+V. And what happens here is you have this image separately, and once your new layer is selected, you can move it, you can transform it, Ctrl+T, and you press Shift, and you can rotate it exactly by 90 degrees, and after that you change a little bit opacity like of this image, and you can see immediately that we have a problem here, that the length of the plane when we have a side view, it does not correspond to the length of the plane when you have a top view, and you can't use this like blueprints, you can't use these views together because they just do not fit. And if you figure out everything inside SolidWorks, you will have problem because you will need to stretch this one, for example, top view, and after that you will need to stretch bottom view, and you will have just many different inconveniences, and it's not the right thing to adjust everything inside SolidWorks. You should do everything inside Photoshop. For example, you press Alt here and you make scale of this image to make sure that the length of the plane like is the same, is the same here, and when it's done, when you are finished with your length, just a second, I think it's okay, and you can separately save this image. You can get back to this opacity, you save it as a side view, and later on you return to the main image and you separately cut all these views. For example, you cut this one and you make Ctrl C, you press to the new layer Ctrl V, and when you have it on the new layer, what you do, you just delete unnecessary parts, and you can, for example, save it, file, save as, or for example you can make Alt Ctrl Shift W, these combinations, just to save it as PNG file. Basically standard procedure when you cut different views and you save them separately to be added to different SolidWorks planes, and it's just a standard procedure. We will do it now with the rifle, but here we just basically what we did, we adjusted the side view to make sure that it has the same proper length as all the other views, and make sure that when you have a blueprint that it's the proper blueprint and you can use it. Just check it before adding to SolidWorks. So let's go to our rifle, it's here. And here we will not have any problems like this. What happens that it is the main image, we create a new layer right here, but we will create it to just add some view. For example, we take this one, and when the bottom layer, this one is selected, we press Ctrl C, we jump to the upper layer, which is empty now, Ctrl V, and it's pasted here. So this one, this image, we already can save, for example, file, save as, and you can save it as, oh, it's a new version of Photoshop. You should use just second, file, export as. Where is our export? Export as, like this, and this you save it as PNG file, and you can export it to your desktop, and you can call it just, for example, side view. Later on, when you are finished, you just make this layer invisible and the initial layer visible, and again you cut, from example, this one. It is a view of our rifle when we look from this side. Again, Ctrl C, new layer, press here Ctrl V, it's on the new layer, and again you file, export, and export as, and you choose PNG, and again you export it to your desktop, and the same for all the other views. So in this case we will cut this view, this view, this view, and this view from the top. And this one, as we say, that the rifle has like pretty much symmetrical view from the left side and from the right side. There is no really much difference, so we just don't need to double this one. So we take this one, this one, this one, and this one. If you can't use Photoshop, you can do it in Paint, so there is no problem. And what we need at the end to have here, we need to have all our views separately. And for example, it's just a second. We sort it by type, and here we will have all our views separately, like this one, this one, this one, and also another one, so we will have it soon. So as soon as you have all the views, we jump to the SolidWorks and we need to add everything to standard planes. Open a new part file, and we will quickly add our pictures here, and we will start drawing our first part. So these standard coordinate planes, make them all selected by using Shift and Control buttons, make them all visible, so when we rotate around they do not disappear, and we will quickly add our picture. So
start sketch on any of the planes, for example on the front plane, and we will need this tool, sketch picture. If you don't have it here, and you probably don't, so this search box here, make sure that commands are selected, that you search among commands, and press here sketch picture. Okay, sketch picture. Just a second, so we will have it here, and when it's available, drag and drop it here, and this tool will appear here. And after that, when you are inside the sketch, and now we are inside the sketch, you can see, you can press sketch picture, and it will offer you to select any pictures from your computer. We will start from the side view. As you can see, it's here, and we will adjust quickly this view. So we need to drag here. At first, you should understand how you want it to be located. There is no direct rules about it, but it makes sense to make it aligned with the coordinate planes. For example, we can make this end of the scope to be coincident with this plane, and for example this end, the lower part of the rifle, to be coincident with this plane. Okay, so but I see that these planes are very small now. I don't like how they look, so I stop editing my sketch picture, and I exit the sketch for a while to make sure that all the planes are a little bit bigger. So you can in SolidWorks you can always drag them just by these corners. Just make it like this, make it like this. Okay, and when it's done, just go back to our sketch. We have a sketch picture like this. In order for you to be able to edit it again, just make double click here, and again you can drag it with your mouse, and now you see these planes have big sizes, so we will not have any problems to adjust our picture as we want. We need this one to be aligned with this plane. Now we do it, and we need this one to touch the other plane. You just do it like this, just up to the point when you like the result. Okay, so just a second. It looks good, maybe a little bit more. Just a second. Yeah, okay, so it will be like this. We don't need to be like 100% precise. Some small deviations may appear, no problem about it. So this one touches one plane and this one touches another plane, and that's how we decided to set it. Okay, you can set it in any other way. Now as you remember, we also have the front view of our rifle from the front and the back view from the back, and it does make sense to add front view to this right plane, because if you remember, there is a big scope from the front side. So let's just make right plane again. We exit the previous sketch, we start a new sketch on the right plane, and we make sketch picture, and we have a front view. We add it and we paste it here. As you can see, it makes complete sense because this is the rifle, okay, it's a side view and it is a front view, and we have our scope here. The only thing that we want this scope, at first it should touch this plane, and it should be as symmetric as possible with respect to this middle plane. Okay, let's make it. Press space bar, and to make sure that you look completely like from the front. Well, it already looks perfect. It looks symmetric. It looks like it touches the floor, if you can say it, and we can leave it here. The only thing that I forgot to mention here, that we can also get rid of white color, and we should do it, because once you look at your pictures in this way, it's very inconvenient, because all this white color, it just obstructs you the view. It's not convenient to work like this, because once I'm here, I actually don't see anything on the other side. How to get rid of white color? For example, let's start from this sketch. Okay, let's make edit sketch, sketch picture. In order to get access to this picture, you make a double click here, and at first it's very important that we need to adjust our location at first. When our location now is adjusted, we can get rid of any colors. Just okay, we press here. When sketch picture, there is a column, we make here user defined. Here we activate eyedropper tool. If it's activated, it will be nearby your cursor. You see, nearby my cursor there is eyedropper, and I press on the white color. Now white color is selected, so white color is selected, and I make transparency maximum. And as you can see, almost all the white color is gone, and now we can see through, which is just amazing. It will allow us to work in a normal way, so to see everything what's happening around. And the same here. Okay, we already have another sketch with a front view. Again, edit sketch, if you have here sketch picture, we're already inside it, double click on it, we already adjusted its position at first, and again, user defined, press here, make sure that eyedropper is activated, so that the eyedropper nearby your cursor, press here, you should see white color here, make transparency maximum. Okay, and again, almost all the white color is gone. So what we need to do next, we need to add some other views. If you remember, we have a view from the top of the rifle, and it makes sense to put the view from the top to this top plane, okay? So it will be right below. And we have also view from the back. There is a kind of back side of the scope. And from this, for this back view, it makes sense to draw a plane that passes through this line. And in order to do it, at first we need to exit all the sketches to be in this three-dimensional space, and we need a new plane here to add some view. We take this plane, right, press Ctrl, and you drag it to its corner like this, and you can rotate your mouse wheel just to approach if you need, or to go, just hold Ctrl, and make sure that plane is here. Okay, perfect. Once you are okay with its position, press green check mark. You can also manually adjust its distance from the initial plane, but okay, we have already good position of this plane, and we start a sketch on this new plane 1. Okay, we start a sketch, we add a sketch picture, and we need a back view. Okay, just a back view. It's here, and again, we want it to be, okay, we want to rotate to the proper side. We want it to be again as symmetric as possible, and we want it to touch this plane. Okay, let's adjust it. Let's zoom in if we need. Let's adjust it. It touches. Okay, and it's as symmetric as possible for us. Now it's perfect. Okay, looks fine. It's fine for us. And again, we adjusted its location, and only now we get rid of unnecessary white color. Make here user defined, make eyedropper tool active. Once it's active, press here, select white color, make transparency maximum, and almost all the white color is gone. Of course, we could make, a little bit more work inside Photoshop to get rid of completely white color, but it's not necessary. As soon as it's like this, you can see like the shapes. It's enough for your drawing. It will work perfectly for us. Okay, so now it's done, and we have the last view. It's a top view, and it makes sense, as we told already, to put it on the top plane. And again, we exit the sketch, we start a new sketch on the top plane, and we add sketch picture, and the top view is here. And if you can see the top view, it seems like it's looking to the other direction, because the barrel looks here, and this one looks to the other direction. Let's rotate it if possible. Here is the rotation angle. Let's make it 90 or maybe more degrees. You can just hold this arrow and keep it up to the point when it's when it's okay for you. It will be 180, obviously. 180, perfect. So now when it's rotated, you can still drag it. Okay, you can still drag it like this, and of course we need to adjust that they have the same length. So let's look from the top, press spacebar, and as you can see, I need it to be at first completely symmetric, and it should coincide with the other one. Just a second, we need like this. We can also add another plane on the top, but it's like not really necessary for us. We can work like this without any problems. Just a second, press spacebar. At first we will make it completely symmetric, so with respect to this line. Okay, looks fine for us. Now it looks like very symmetric. And the other thing that we should now move it, maybe to make sure that they are like coincide in terms of width. And as you can see, it's not the case now. And let's try to change it with the arrows. Okay, let's try to change it with arrows. Okay, I press this one, and it looks very good. It looks like they're almost the same. Okay, just a second. Just if you can do it to avoid like deviations, it would be fine. It would be fine. Once again, if you have some small deviations, it's not a critical issue. It's not a critical issue, because It's up to you. Just a second. And once again, we check that it has symmetry. It already shifted a little bit. Okay, this is it. So for us, it's done. So let's close the sketch picture. Oh, just a second. We need also with this sketch, let's go inside once again. Let's press at this sketch picture. We need to get rid of white color, okay? We need to get rid of white. Take eyedropper tool. White color is selected. Transparency to maximum. And our blueprints are pretty much ready. What you can see now, we have a side view of our rifle. We have a front view here. We have a back view here, and we have a view from the top here. And now we will use it to make this kind of foundation, this green main body. And later on, of course, we will use these sketch pictures. We will use it to make other parts as well, but we will start from this one. So let's start drawing. So we start a sketch, and as we want this main green body, this kind of foundation, to build this one, we obviously should start from the front plane, okay? And if you wish, if for example for clarity, you can make other planes not visible. For example, just to click on this one, make it hidden, click on this one, right click, make it hidden, and the same one for the other plane. Once again, right click, make it hidden. And now you have only one plane, and actually nothing else distracts you. And again, remember that all these planes, they are available here. And if the plane is visible, like front plane, you see there is a bright blue color here, okay? And if it's not visible, you can see that it's like it's gone. The bright color is gone, and again you can press on it and you can make it visible again, okay, like this one. And again here, and you can hide it. And the same for the sketches. Sometimes for the necessary construction, you don't need to see some sketches, and again you can press here, right click, make it invisible, and you can see which sketches are invisible in this construction tree by this kind of color. If the color is bright, then it's a visible sketch. If the color is like this, then it's invisible sketch. You can make it visible again. Okay, so we started already our sketch on front plane, and what we will do, we just build the shape around this one, just with usually what we use here, we can use spline tool and we can use segment tool. Okay, let's start doing very simple modeling. We use segment tool and we use segments, okay, here. If you have some rounded corners, like here, just press escape. If you have some rounded corners, you can make them sharp, like here. Later on, you can use sketch fillet. Just, make a preliminary sketch, just to, to adjust. So it should be like the border of this one, okay? So let's do it. Let's draw. Once you use some tool to go around, you press when you finished, for example, like this, I finished with my segment, I don't need it anymore, and I press escape. And here, as you can see, it doesn't look very much like a segment, because this part, it looks a little bit curved. And what I need to do here, I press Ctrl Z, so to delete the last one, I take spline tool, and I press here with spline, I press escape, and now I click to the spline to adjust its position, okay? Now it's adjusted. I want to see like from the perpendicular view to make sure that everything is correct. And here again, as you can see, it's not very precise, and I can again click and adjust its position. I want this one to be adjusted. Okay, so let's continue. And again, you see this one is curved, and again we need a spline tool. We press here, we press here, we press escape now to finish, and we press on the spline tool, and we use these handles to adjust its position. Once you use the spline tool, you can use this one. This one is for rotation, and this one is for the length of this half. You can call it half tangent line or something like it. For example, if you can see, the spline form changes when I drag here, but as well it will change when I drag here, okay? There are two types of spline control. At first this one, and the second is this one. Okay, let's put it here, let's put it back. To adjust it, let's make it here. So from this side it looks good, but from this side it doesn't look good. And again, if your spline somewhere is not like really perfect and you have just some small deviations, it's not necessary to spend like 30 minutes and to adjust everything in a perfect way. You see, it's pretty much okay for us. Yeah, a little bit deviates, but that's okay. It's not a problem at all. We just continue. We take a spline tool and we draw here again. We finished. Escape, press here, adjust a little bit the shape of a spline. Again, what we have now, we can whether go back to spline tool. The other nice thing to access spline tool very fast, you can press S key, S as a dollar, on your keyboard, and you will have all the tools here that are available here. So the spline is one of them. Okay, you can use spline here again. This one is okay, it can be straight, or you can press enter on your keyboard and it will return you to your previous tool. Our previous tool, now it's like a cursor, now it's an arrow. Our previous tool was spline. If we press enter, look, you see there is a spline appeared near our cursor. The enter returns you immediately to the previous tool, so whether you can press enter. Now escape, press here, adjust the form. Again, let's continue. So enter, we return to the spline. Okay, we press it here. Okay, now we need to adjust its form. This one will go here and this one will go here, and we obviously need to stretch it a little bit. As you can see, now it fits almost perfectly. Okay, it's good. We are continuing. Again, enter. We need to return to our spline tool. Okay, this one. Escape. So now it's okay. Enter, return to the spline tool. Here. Let's make it here, okay? Okay, to adjust its form, make it a little bit here. Just rotate the shape. And again, you can drag it a little bit. You can drag it a little bit here. So let me just put this one here. So you can also change the starting point and the end point just by dragging it. If it's difficult for you to get the necessary form, there is no problem. Okay, so we press escape. We finished with this one. We press enter again because it returns us to our previous tool and it was spline. Let's put it here. So let's put it here. Okay, okay, and let's continue. Okay, escape. Enter. Usually the less splines you have here, the better it's for you. Okay, so with this one we'll have this kind of half circle. Enter. We return to our spline. We press here, escape, and now we will adjust its shape to make it coincident with this form. I just do not see very well this half tangent line. Okay, now it's great. Okay, we are continuing. It's a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit tedious process. You just need to draw completely the shape. You can use spline. For example, now for my convenience I use spline, but for straight segments, like here you can use segment and you can just use it here. Spline is universal. You basically can get any form with the spline. So for example, but if there is a complete like a straight line, like this one, just press, for example, S key on your keyboard just to get a quick access to a split line, to your line, and you can get it here. As you can see, there are some rounded corners here. Here we missed it, but nevertheless, we will round them afterwards when our sketch is almost finished. And again, just a second. Okay, it's here. Now we will do some spline. Press S key on your keyboard, choose spline, and we can, for example, let's put it here. We just don't need to do everything immediately, just to make everything simple for us. So we will not, just a second, if you are far enough, sometimes it's difficult to take these handles. Okay, this one, and again press S, take the line tool because there is obviously a straight line here. We can get it here. S key again, you can get your spline again. Here, you press 2 points. Now you click escape, click to the spline and adjust its position. And we are almost done. We are almost closed our contour. What we have here, as you can see, it's pretty unclear what will be the shape. And if it's unclear, it's up to you, because blueprints are just recommendations how you should draw. So basically, you can take spline tool and you can draw here anything that you seem that is reasonable for you. We can make here a little bit that look like a trapezium on this side. Okay, now it's closed. Now it's closed. We can also adjust these forms here a little bit so everything will look smoother. So this one, for example, these lines to be like completely, for example, parallel, like horizontal and so on. But it's up to you. If you are okay with the shape, you can be pretty quick. For example, here you can obviously round these corners, and we had preset it 1 centimeter as a fillet radius, and you can see it works perfectly for us in this case. Do we need to fillet something else? We should fillet probably this one, but let's finish with this. Okay, let's finish with this one, and it offers us to fillet this corner. And as you can see, when I click here, the fillet doesn't appear. It means that this radius 1 is very large. It doesn't work here. Maybe we make 0.1. Okay, and now you can see the fillet appears. When you try to fillet something, if you don't see any preview, it means that the fillet that you're chosen is just too large. It can't be performed here. Let's make it here a little bit, here, just to make smooth transitions. Okay, and let's look to the other sides. If we have something like very sharp, maybe here, maybe we can make it even a little bit smoother. So we just need to make a form that is pretty smooth, okay, pretty organic, if you wish. So there are no like very sharp edges. For example, this one would be also great to fillet, just not a big one, but some, because when you see some designs of some items, they rarely have edges that are really very sharp, okay, that are okay. This one, and you can see, for example, this segment is horizontal. It's just like parallel to the floor, if you can call it like this, because there is this relation, this green square, and this one, this relation means that it's horizontal. You can take it, and you can also, by the way, delete it. So if you press on it, you can delete these relations, but sometimes you just need to look at it to understand some information about this segment, okay? And this one I also wanted to be horizontal, but let's just delete. Let's finish our fillet. Let's close it. I want it also to be horizontal. Well, how I can do it? I just click on it with my cursor tool, and once I click on it, on this, oh, it's a spline. That's why it's not horizontal. Let's redraw this one just to make it like a horizontal segment. What we can do here, we can delete this spline, press S on your keyboard, take a segment and draw a segment from here to here. Click on it, left mouse, and choose this one, horizontal. And now it's good. Maybe, like this one is finished, maybe we can adjust a little bit like this. Okay, let's go here. I can see that here it's also a pretty sharp angle. We just need to fillet it. Okay, it's done. And there will also fillet here because it was pre-selected. It's okay for us. Here it's done. It's done. Let's make a small fillet here just to make smooth shapes, not to get just sharp edges anywhere. Okay, let's make it here. Okay, it's pretty much it. We are okay with our initial form. And how do we get our main green body? What we'll do now, we just make extrude of this contour of this closed loop. So for example, our sketch now is ready. We're inside the sketch, and we do features, extruded, and you can see we already see our preview. And what we do now is we have a symmetrical situation, so our rifle has a complete symmetry with regards to the front plane. That's why we need to make not a sketch plane, we need to make a mid plane, because it will go to the both sides, if you can see, like this, okay? And how can we adjust the width of this one? So what we do, we go here, just a second, we press, I just want to exit, we press space bar, just rotate with your mouse if it's not active, and just drag this arrow up to the point. I have some issue here. Let me just make once again. Sometimes if you messed up with the tool, it will not work properly. There are some issues. Just open it again. It will work fine. Okay, so this one, we already see the preview, and we need to drag this arrow manually up to the point when the width from the top is the same as the width from the top here. Okay, so once again, I'm looking from the top, I press my space bar, I'm here, and I want to drag it that it completely coincides with the width. You can see what's happening now. It's larger, now it's smaller, and now it will be just completely in line with this one, okay? And once again, you shouldn't be like 100% accurate. 99% accuracy is fine for us. Okay, perfect. Now it's done. So we have our initial green main body of a rifle, and we will work a little bit with it because now it's very sharp here. It's very sharp here. You do not see this design in real life, and the best way to make it a little bit better is to use fillet. Okay, you use standard type of fillet. You choose here radius. Let's click to this one, and just a second, maybe to this one, and maybe one is too much. Maybe let's press 0.8, 0.9. Just try to add other fillets. Just try to make other numbers. 0.5 maybe. Okay, now it works. As you can see, we pre-selected this face and we wanted fillet to be performed around all the face, but we didn't have this preview, and the preview was not appearing because this number was like too large. Let's make it 0.6 maybe, just to try a different one. You see, it's like already too much for us, so we will stay with 0.5. It's like the maximum probably, or close to it, and we want also fillet to be performed here, and this is pretty much it. Okay, let's make it here. Here it's not possible. It's okay for us. At least our model will be a little bit better. Okay, this one, the last face will be taken away. Okay, it works. As you can see, it's a little bit better now, but we'll still have to work with this one. For example, if you look at our sniper rifle, this one is a separate part. It is made of rubber, and we will now cut it away, and we will make this one of rubber. And there is also some incline here. Let's open just our initial project in just a second, and I will show you what we mean here. We mean that this one is made of rubber, and this one is kind of, it's not wide as the main body. So what we will do now, we will build this rubber part, and we will make cut here. Okay, what we will do now, we will build a rubber part of this stock. For example, here is the complete one. We will cut a portion of it, and we will make it a separate solid body that is made of rubber. So, and we will use surface. We will use very common technique in Solidworks. Once you build a surface, in order for use it to cut a portion of your solid body, and this portion will be a separate solid body, another one that can be made with a different material. Okay, so it will be a simple one, and I think you will learn how to use this technique. So our initial idea that we want some surface that goes like this, from this side, to cut this portion, and to make this portion as a separate solid body. So let's make it. I assume that we can build surface that maybe is a lofted surface that passes, for example, through this one. So we will make it like this. It will be the first foundation of loft, the first curve. On the opposite side, we will build another curve. So loft will connect this curve and this curve here, and there will be also two guide curves, maybe like this one, and the other guide curve, this one, on the other side. So let's do it. So what we need here, that let's build a plane at first. So we have a right plane. Let's make it visible. At first we will build maybe a plane that passes through this point and that is parallel to this plane. Very simple. So we go to features, reference geometry, plane. This plane is already added as a first reference because it was pre-selected. And the second reference, we need to zoom in and to click to this point. We just zoom in closely to see it. Okay, and now you can see that we have a point that the plane that passes through the given point. Okay, that's what we need. The initial plane we can hide, and here what we will need to have, we need to build our guide curves here, and we will build also a curve here. So let's start from the simplest part. Before building any guide curves, we already decided that this one will be the first foundation of our loft, if you wish, okay? So it passes through this point. Okay, so as it's the first foundation, we want to make it like as a separate 3D sketch. Sometimes it's very convenient. In this case, everything works usually smoothly. So we start a 3D sketch, and we want to convert all these edges as a separate 3D sketch, okay, to be added to the loft, okay? It's not a necessary part, but it's just, you know, everything will be smooth in this case. So this. We start a 3D sketch, we use Convert Entities tool inside 3D sketch, and we use it, and now we have this three-dimensional sketch that consists of this arc, this segment, and this arc, and it will be the first foundation of loft. What we do now, we try to keep everything separately for our loft. We try to keep the first foundation, the first contour on the top of the loft as a separate sketch. The other one will be also a separate sketch, and every guide curve will be also a separate sketch. It's very important. In this case, everything works smooth usually. So let's go to the other side. We build the other side, the other kind of, you know, foundation of our surface loft. So what we do here, we start sketch on this plane, and we want to build intersection of this solid body with this plane. Use intersection curve. You can find this tool here. Make sure that you are looking among commands. Find intersection curve. It allows you to get intersection of your plane and any surfaces, any faces, and so on. Intersection curve. And here you just need to add. We already in a sketch. We already make sketch here. And when we use intersection curve, we just need to add here some surfaces or faces that have intersection with our plane. We just made 3 of them. Press, and you can see here we have an intersection curve. We have an intersection of these faces and our plane. So you can see it's located here. Okay, and we are done because we want this one to be used as a separate sketch. We do not make anything here, anything more than that, okay? This one separate sketch is one foundation of loft. This one on the top is the other one. And now we will build every guide curve as a separate sketch again, okay? So we go to the same plane, and we start a sketch on the same plane. And I want the guide curve to be like this, okay? To be this segment. So let's start doing it. It's the same thing. So intersection curve, let's make it segment, face. We want intersection of this face and our plane. Let's do it, and as you can see, it's here, it's our first guide curve. And again, what would be a big mistake if we made the same another segment on the same sketch. For example, if we do now this one, okay, what we have that we have sketch 11, and here on one sketch we have in the same time 2 guide curves. And we will probably have issues with loft in this case, so try not to do that. Ctrl Z, try to keep every guide curve as a separate sketch. It's like a good idea. And again, I start a sketch on my plane number 4, and I use intersection curve, and I intersect it with this one. Okay, and now it's a separate sketch. Everything is done, and I exit this sketch. And what I have now, I have everything prepared for my loft. I have one base, I have another one, so this one, and I have one guide curve, and I have another guide curve. So I hope that the loft will work, but we will see. If there are any issues, we will look what will happen next. Okay, so we try to build lofted surface, and we try to add some elements here. So you can whether click here, but you can see what happened here. SolidWorks thinks that I want to add these edges, and it like opens for me selection manager, so I just don't want to do it. I already prepared my foundation, my profile of loft, this one, so I can use this feature manager tree that is available here on the left corner of my screen. Just press C on your keyboard and you will be able to add here. The most convenient part here that when you hover with your mouse here over this stuff, you can see the stuff that you hover over is kind of, you know, shining on the main screen, so you can understand what you hover over. So now we add the other base of loft, okay, sketch 11, and as you can see, it's already some connector here, because our first clicks on the loft, they define the position of this connector, but we don't see any loft. Probably it does look like there is some yellow preview, but we don't see anything, because this main solid body, it prevents us from having view. So let's find it. Solid body is here. Oh no, we just don't add it to fill it. We just don't add it. Just what we want here, just let's go away from our loft for a second, and we right click on our solid body and we use this option change transparency. So in this case, our solid body becomes transparent and we will not have problems with the preview of our loft. Okay, so again, we make lofted surface. Once it's opened, we as a profile, so we make this one, just don't want the selection manager, this one and this one, and the loft is here, but as you can see what happened, that for some reason it decided to build a connector like this, and this position of connector probably does not allow to build any surface between these contours, and that's why I do not see really any preview. But once I change the position of the connector, it allows. Why this surface can be built? Because SolidWorks does not build you surfaces that have self-intersection. It means that with this connector, what is connector? It is a segment that lies on the surface. This segment belongs to the surface, and if the surface contains this segment, this connector, it has self-intersections, and that's why SolidWorks doesn't want to build it. So you should move connector like this, and in this case we have a good loft, and probably we do not even need here our guide curves because it already looks nice. But what I do here, I just try to add this one and this one, and as you can see, they are added here, and it looks everything looks proper now because my main body is transparent. I can see the loft, I can see the surface, and what will happen that I will cut a portion of my solid body with this surface. I think it's ready. It's ready to go. Okay, we press check mark. Now this lofted surface is created. You can see here it's a relay surface, and we will use very common technique. We will cut the portion of our solid body with this surface. Okay, what we'll do now, we will not make it again, like we will not change transparency because we want to see our surface. We will keep it like this, and we will use split tool. Again, split tool, amazing one. Just find it here and drag and drop it here, split tool, and here is the simple thing. You need to use your trim tool. It can be a plane or a surface. So in this case, just use our surface. Where is it? Surface loft. Okay, so it will be your trim tool, and here you should add solid bodies that you want to trim with this surface. Oh, it's already here, like the main solid body. It's called fitted. It's already here, and you need to press this button. Very important. Press this one. Okay. The body cannot split by selected tools. Usually this issue is connected with the fact that the surface has not complete intersection with our solid body. But in this case, let's change it transparency. It looks like it has a complete intersection with our solid body. Sometimes you can solve this issue by extending your surface. You can actually have a tool for this, extend surface, but when I try to extend my surface here, you can see that there is no preview, and this tool probably will not work here because nothing is extending. Sometimes due to geometrical conditions, everything seems to be right for you, but tools in SolidWorks, sometimes they do not work. However, it has many tools and you can still solve your issue. Our initial idea was to split this solid body into two, this one and this one with this surface. For some reason, it doesn't want to make a cut with this surface, but this surface completely intersect our solid body, and we will check it by using this tool, cut with surface. Let's, for example, make our solid body visible. For example, if we use this tool and we add this surface to cut a portion of our body, and I'm telling you about this tool because it will solve eventually our problem. So this arrow, it shows the direction that everything will be cut on this side, or if we click on it, everything will be cut on this side. For example, let's apply it, and you can see everything is cut on this side, and it is actually a good proof that our surface that we used, lofted surface, it completely intersects our solid body because we can use it for cut with surface tool, and it's supposed to work for split. But nevertheless, now it works. What we will do now, we will paste, we will make Control Z to go back, and we will solve our issue in this way. We will make a copy of our solid body, so it will be one copy on another, and we will take one part from one copy and the other from the other. So I'll just show it to you, because we want this as a separate solid body and this as a separate solid body. We'll do very simple thing, just follow along. So this one, go to features, move copy body tool. You probably don't have it here. Just find move copy body and drag it here, move copy, and this one is already pre-selected, our solid body, and we make an exact copy of our solid body. Make sure that the copy is check mark is here, exact copy on the top of this one. Okay, apply it. And it says that no translation or rotation specified. Do you want to proceed? You say okay, because, and you can see there are two identical solid bodies, one on the top of the other. And what I will do now, I will cut a portion with this lofted surface from my first solid body. I make this one, I control, you can pre-select all of them, you can pre-select this one and this one, and again you go to surfaces, and we use cut with surface. Where is this one? Cut with surface, okay, and this surface is already here. And what I want, I do not want like selected bodies, because here when I do auto select it will cut everything. Just I want this one to take away, and here I want to add solid bodies that I need. I already actually chosen one, like this one, fillet, it should be here. Okay, so I want to cut only a portion from my first solid body, so I need to put it in this green table. Maybe I will cut another one. So from the first solid body, everything on this side of the surface will be cut, and there will be only this side left. Okay, so apply. Okay, now you don't see it, but actually if you, for example, hide another solid body, you will see that actually from the first solid body we have only this part that will be made of rubber. Okay, so let's make this one again a right click, change transparency, this one, and from the second solid body we will actually cut this portion. Okay, let's do it now. Again, cut with surface, we add surface that will be cutting our solid body, auto select, and here we take another solid body that is a copy of the initial one, and we want from the second solid body to cut actually this side, because this one is already, we already have, okay, this one, and we need to place it here. Okay, let's add it. Perfect. And what we have here, let's take now away this one, make it invisible, make visible. So this solid body, you can see that it's this part, and this solid body is actually, it is this part. So our issue is solved. We just got what we want. What we will do now, we will make some adjustments here with the shape of our rifle, so it will be like more organic here. So just follow along. We will make some cuts, again cuts with the surface in this face and later on the other one. We will use like very simple technique that is commonly used in modeling. We will build a surface to perform a cut. This cut will be performed whether with functions cut with surface, very simple one, or whether with a more advanced with the split tool. So nevertheless, we will build a surface with very simple surface creation tools here, and we will use it as a cut of this solid body. So we will use extruded surface. Let's start here, start a sketch on this planar face. We should start with a simple spline. So let's draw it here. And once again, we do free modeling here, so you are able to decide which form of the spline is suitable for you. The only thing that we will make anyway, some kind of, some directions, some restrictions. For example, this angle, as you can see, is changing when I drag it, and I can see in the left column that it's controlled here. Let's make it 0 degrees. So this one is like parallel to the ground, if you wish. We can call it like this. And for example, this point and this point, they can be on the same vertical line, like control here, and you can see I may have some issues with selecting them. You see something is not selected. No problem. If you have some issues with selecting, use another way. For example, you can use a center line, make here vertical,
Okay, you can see the relation here that it's vertical, and put this point here, everything is fine. So now we predefined form of our spline that will be used for cut, but later on we can change it if something goes wrong. So we want to extrude this spline to get a surface, and we want to extrude it in this way that this surface is pretty close to this face, so it cuts it like this. It cuts in this direction. Because now if we use extruded surface, it will go like this. It's definitely not what we need. So we need to define this direction of extrusion. And we want it to be a segment that is pretty close to this face, and we also want to control this kind of the angle of this segment. And you can do it in a pretty simple way. So let's make it in a clear way. We built a plane here, for example, that is perpendicular to the segment. For example, just a second, we take this segment and this point, and when you add them as references, by default you get the plane that passes through this point perpendicular to the segment. For example, if you choose here not a segment but a spline, you will get the plane that is perpendicular to the spline and passes through this ending point. But in this case we also just need a segment, and in this plane we will build like the segment. In this plane we will build a segment that will be our direction of extrusion. So let's immediately start sketch here. And what we want to control our angle, we want this line of intersection of our plane and this face. And again, we go to intersection curve because we're already on the plane sketch. And for us, the only thing that what we need is to select faces or surfaces that we need. Intersection curve, you can find this tool here if you look among comments. Okay, so this one, select this face, press check mark, and you can see we have intersection curve line segment of this plane and this face. We don't need this tool anymore. And this one is auxiliary one, so we just make it like dashed, and now we build our segment that will be direction of extrusion. The only thing that I want to extrude like this one to both directions, so I make like midpoint segment from the midpoint, and this angle is the angle in my power. I can control it, and I need to be maybe not a big angle, maybe just 5 degrees. So the direction of extrusion now is here, and the spline that we will extrude is here. Let's start drawing extruded surface. Let's make it in a clear way. We exited all the sketches, and let's pre-select the spline that we need. So click on it, it's pre-selected, and when it's pre-selected, click on extruded surface. Okay. Now it's done, and as you can see, it offers us to extrude it in this direction. We do not need it, we need this direction, okay, this one. Okay, now it's working perfectly, but we want to extrude it to both sides, so it means that we need to press midplane here. Okay, it's extruding, it's cutting pretty much as we need. You can see we will cut out this portion, but at this point we will not be able to use this surface to cut our rifle, because you can see that there is no complete intersection. In order this tool to work correctly, there should be complete intersection of this surface and our solid body. And for example, if we use split tool, we add as a trim this surface that we get, and we add our solid body, and let's try to cut bodies. And as you can see, there is only one resulting body that is the same as the initial one, because this plane does not divide our body into two separate solid bodies. There should be like complete intersection of this plane and of our solid body. So split tool will not help us in this case. And if we use, for example, cut with surface, we want to cut our body with this surface, and we want, for example, to delete everything on this side. We press an arrow, so press on our arrow, so it will be directed here. Let's try, and you will see that it doesn't work. It doesn't work because this plane doesn't have complete intersection with our rifle. So we should extend this surface, not a plane surface. We should extend it a little bit. And the laziest way to extend our surface is to use the tool that is called extend surface. Here you just click, for example, to this edge, to this edge, and here you should write the length of extrusion. But it is kind of the tool. It works sometimes well for simple surfaces. For difficult surfaces, like difficult shapes, it works terrible. You get some crazy extrusions that you never need. And in this case, you can see that it goes like very close to our rifle. And for me, it's not clear if it intersects, if this surface intersects completely our rifle or not. Because in this case, I would like to make an extrusion manually. So I will make an extrusion here a little bit to our direction, and here a little bit to our direction, and it's also a good training for us. So let's start doing it. So just a second, we will rotate model in the way that we need. Okay, we come here and we will make an extrusion of this segment towards us. So in order for this edge of the surface to be extruded, let's make it as a separate 3D sketch. So let's just convert it to a three-dimensional segment. So let's start 3D sketch, and we want to use convert entities. When this tool is open, I click on this edge, make sure that there is an edge here, and convert. And you can see there is a black color here. It means that it's a three-dimensional segment now. It will be the segment that we will extrude. Okay, now we want to define the direction of extrusion. And again, we start a new 3D sketch. We use a line tool, and you can see here XY. It means that if we draw a segment now, it will be in XY plane, and you can see here axes with respect to our model. We want this direction that we will build now to be like parallel to the ground. Okay, so let's make it like this. Let's make this view. You can see that the ground level is the plane that passes through X and Z. XZ. Okay, so we want this segment, when you see near the cursor, to be XZ. It will be the segment that is like parallel to the ground. So press tab several times, and you can see that the plane where the segment is belonging is changing, and we need to stop on XZ, and we can draw a segment that is pretty close to this rifle, but it still goes a little bit towards us. Okay, this is it. And you can see it's parallel to the ground. It's pretty much what we need. Press escape now, and let's exit this sketch. And again, we want to use extruded surface. Let's pre-select this one. We pre-select it. We press extruded surface, so SolidWorks understands that we need to extrude this one, and we will use this one as a direction. And for some reason it doesn't show us any result. Again, 3D sketch. And why do we have only one 3D sketch? Because I wanted to have two of them. So let's again delete this one. Let's draw it once again. Okay, so now we have one 3D sketch. Okay, we exited from it. We start another 3D sketch, another one. Yeah, okay, so now it's okay. And we use segment. Okay, press tab several times until we get XZ, and draw segment towards us a little bit from the rifle towards us. Okay, it's ready. Okay, we have now two separate 3D sketches. Now it should work. So we pre-select one of them. We pre-select, for example, this edge, and we go to surfaces, extrude the surface. So SolidWorks already edited here, and we need to define this direction. Yeah, so now it extruded everything properly, because once again we have the sketch that we want to extrude, this line as a separate sketch, and this one as a separate sketch. In this case, everything will work fine. There will not be ambiguous stuff. So this one, and we want to get the same thing from another side. Let's rotate it a little bit around the model, and we approach to the other side. And again, we want to build the surface here. It will be a very simple thing. We start again 3D sketch here. We convert this edge to a three-dimensional like segment. Convert. When this table is opened, you click here. It's added edge. Okay, now one 3D sketch is ready. Exit it. Do not forget to exit and to start new 3D sketch where you show the direction of extrusion. We use segment. I want it to be parallel to the ground. Just a second. We want to be parallel to the ground from this point. Okay, I pressed tab several times, and I hope that it changed everything. Yeah, when you draw the segment, you can also press tab several times to make sure that the direction of the segment goes where you need. Okay, so this is it. Let's make the final extrusion. So extrude surface. Let's just pre-exit all the sketches just to make sure. Okay, we do it in the right way. We pre-select this one. we make extruded surface, and we use this one as a direction. Okay, finally it's ready. So it's done. We have 3 surfaces, and we will cut the portion of our rifle with these 3 surfaces all together. Let's use split tool. Now there is no doubt at all that these 3 surfaces have complete intersection with our solid body. Trim tools, just add all together these 3 surfaces here, and here we add our solid body here and cut bodies, and you can see there are 2 of them. Now it's 2 of them. One solid body here that is cut by these planes, and the other one is here, and you can see there like so. And we want to delete this portion. Just click on it, and you see the check mark appeared here. So this one is selected. Consume cut bodies, we need option, okay, and apply this tool. As you can see, the portion of our rifle is cut away, and these surfaces, they were auxiliary, so we don't need them anymore. Let's press on this one, so we see there is this surface. Let's hide it, just do not delete it. It's a stupid mistake that you can make. You will get a huge amount of errors. Do not delete them, but instead of that, hide. And this surface is probably this one, and again hide it. And what you see here, you see like that the shape of your rifle changed, and you can see that the form is just going like a little bit thinner here. The only thing that we want to get this cut and put it also to the other side. We will just delete this portion of a rifle that is on the other side of the front plane, and we will be left with only this half of a rifle. The other one will be deleted, and later on this proper part of a rifle will be mirrored to the other side. So we can a little bit save our time. For example, we can immediately make a small fillet, maybe radius 0.3, just a small one here, just to make this edge not as sharp, okay, and later on we will mirror it. Let's split our rifle into 2 different parts, and the split tool will be this front plane. So let's use split, this trim tool, front plane, and we want to cut bodies. We want to cut this one, and so for example this one, you can see this one, there is no need for any cuts. This one is a separate solid body. We can leave it alone. We can split it, we cannot split it. If you do not need to cut it, if you don't need to mirror it, just leave it alone, there is no need. So only this one, and cut bodies, and you can see we have 2 parts, and this portion we want to delete. We check it, so there will be a check mark, and we say consume cut bodies, so it will be consumed. Perfect, now it's done, and we will mirror this part to the other side. We will mirror this part. It's very simple to do, so we go to the mirror tool, mirror face plane, again front plane, and we want bodies to mirror this one, and we check this solid body, okay, this one, and we make, for example, merge solids, so these bodies will be merged, knit surfaces, and so on. Okay, so it's enough for us. So we merge everything, and we have 2 solid bodies. One is here, it will be made of rubber. The other one here, it will be made of metal, and it already resembles the rifle that we want, okay? The only thing that we need to get here is to add a trigger. For example, you can see here is the solid body that like hinders our view. We can right click on it, and we can change transparency. When we change transparency, we see that there is a needed cut here to be performed, but it's a very simple one. So let's do quickly cut here. We start a sketch on the front plane, and we do a cut where the trigger should be located for us. So let's draw a segment here, just from here to here, okay, from here to here. Let's draw one more segment from here to here, okay. It's vertical, this one is horizontal. One more segment, it's already pre-selected. So here you can see that we will have rounded corners, so we will fix this issue. Let's just connect them. Now we will apply fillet. Now, for example, we can make a fillet. Radius 1 is pretty good for us. We can leave it as it is. Let's again take a segment and draw, for example, here, because there will be another fillet, draw it here and a little bit extend other segments to this side, and again we apply fillet here. Here, yeah, the radius one is perfect. The radius one is perfect. As you can see, we already made a sketch that looks like this. Maybe a little bit small fillet need to be done here, but not of such a big radius. It's maybe 0.4 or yeah, it's okay for us. So, and what we do now, we do extruded cut. We do extruded cut from this one. So we go to features, extruded cut from this one, and we want to do extruded cut like to both sides. So we need a mid plane. Okay, it's done. And if you make our solid body that we cut visible, we return transparency, we'll see now that there is a cut, but you can see what happened is that we also cut some portion of material, and this one is really very thin, so we need to a little bit readjust our cut. So what we do here, we go to this cut, and we need actually to adjust the sketch because the sketch was too wide. So let's adjust the sketch and let's make this solid body again. We will make it invisible for a while. Let's adjust this one. We can drag these points just to move it a little bit. We can move it a little bit up, yeah, to make it like not such a big height here once again. Like this. We can leave a little bit space in here. Just do not worry if something is shaking. So it's up to you to decide which form of this aperture do you need. You can make it like this. Okay, just to make sure that there is enough of material stayed here. Okay, perfect. Let's try to exit this sketch and we will see what we get. This one we make visible again. Okay, here we go. This one looks pretty good. I think that there is no problem at all. It's not too thin, it's not too thick, and from the distance it's just there is no difference. It looks very good. So what we need to do, we also need to place this trigger here, and it's located right in the middle. And again, what we need to do, we need to start a sketch on the same plane to create a trigger. Let's start a sketch, and we are already here. Let's draw it. Let's start, for example, from this rectangle. We start from here. Let's make sure that we look from the perpendicular view. So we have a rectangle. We draw it like this. Press escape. And what you can do here, for example, you can try to make it like a circle arc. You start drawing segment from this point, and while you're drawing, you return, and after that you get an arc of a circle. And if you can see, the circle arc doesn't fit to the shape of this trigger. So what we do now, we can do spline from this point to this point, escape, press on the spline and adjust its shape here and here. Okay, it's good. Another spline, so from here to here, press escape, click on it and adjust its shape. Okay, so and after that escape, and we need to connect this one and this one. Maybe we now can use like an arc. Once again, segment, you draw segment, you return back and you just connect it like this. Probably not what I wanted. Just a second. I accidentally pressed Ctrl Z, and you see I went back and my spline not in the right form. In SolidWorks, in order to go one step forward, you press Ctrl Y, and you return to the initial position. So it's maybe we can use tangent arc here, like a tangent arc here. Okay, not exactly what we want. We may also adjust splines here, maybe like this. Maybe like this. Again, we shouldn't be like very precise in this shape, but it looks good for us. So we can extrude it. The only thing, we should make a tangent. We should make a tangent. It's okay for us. And the only thing that you see, if I extrude this contour like this, the trigger is not connected to the main body. So I should make this rectangle like higher in order for this trigger to be connected. And now I extrude this sketch. The only thing that I would like to get here, I would like to trim this unnecessary part, so it's kind of, it's fully enclosed sketch. So now we have extruded both base and it offers us to extrude it like extremely wide. So we make here, and of course we want this trigger to be symmetric. So let's make this mid plane, and it's make just a small distance, maybe 0.3. It's like 0.3 centimeters, maybe 0.4, a little bit bigger. Okay, yeah, now it looks fine, perfect. We will make it. We can make it as a separate solid body, or just to make it a different color, because once you extrude it, it offers you always to merge result. What means merge result? It means that this material that is added to this trigger will be merged with the existing solid body, with this main green solid body, but we may leave it as a separate solid body. So in this case, you will get an additional solid body here in your manager, feature manager tree, in construction tree. You can see it's here, yeah? But if we made different, if we merged the result, if we merged it with the existing one, in this case you wouldn't have it here. It would be a part of a big solid body, but we decided to get it separately. Okay, so this is it. It's pretty much finished. We only need to add some appearances. So the main body of our rifle is done. As you can see, we have several solid bodies here, and let's add some appearances here. Here, solid body appearances, we added here, and this one we want to be made of rubber, and let's make it this rubber, and we'll make it a little bit, not that dark, okay, not that dark. Maybe not complete black, but like this. Yeah, it's pretty black for us. Maybe a little bit like this, okay? Perfect. This one is done, and this one will be made of stainless steel, okay? This solid body is like the biggest one. Again, we choose a material, body, and here we use steel, metal, and in metals we need steel. Let's use polished steel, and we need green color, because if you remember, AWP has a green color. It's more like this, but it's up to you. You can adjust this color here. You can just drag it a little bit to get the desired result. We can drag it a little bit from one side to another. Once we adjust this color of this rifle here, later on we can not adjust it again. We can just paste this appearance to anything that we want. So yeah, this green color looks very nice. It's perfect, and this trigger will be also made of steel. So let's make this body appearance again steel, polished steel, and we want it to be black. We want it to be black, okay, like this. As you can see, the main body of our rifle is finished. We have a trigger, we have everything we need. Later on, we will finish all the other solid bodies. And what we will do now, we will immediately jump into assembly, because our first part of assembly is created, and here it is. And all the other parts of our rifle we will build inside the assembly. So inside the assembly, we will draw this scope, this metal pipe. We will also draw inside the assembly this magazine, and we will make, for example, aperture for this magazine inside our main body, right inside the assembly. So we will adjust everything along the way, and let's start. So this one, you need to save it, save as, and I called it main body, just main body, rifle, just a second, rifle. You save it at some place, and immediately what we do, we go here, press, and make an assembly from part. Make an assembly from part. You open the assembly, and what you need to do here, once it's pre-selected, this main body rifle pre-selected, just click at any point, and the rifle will be added. Later on, when we work with it, we can hide these segments. They were like auxiliary. They appeared during our work. Now we don't need it, and our rifle is ready. So, and we will start building other parts of our assembly. The only thing that we positioned our rifle very randomly here. For example, in assembly here, you have its own front, top, and right plane. And with our rifle, you have its own front, top, and right plane, and sometimes they do not coincide with each other. For example, front plane here, it's of general space, and press Ctrl, click on the front plane of our rifle, and you can see that these are different stories. They do not coincide. And if you try to make them mate, just to make them coincident, you try, and SolidWorks will tell you that it will need to break some mates and so on. Why is it happening? Because by default, when I add the first part into my assembly, it becomes fixed. And it becomes fixed because you see this F here, just by default. All the next parts, if I add here, you know, from other files, they will be flowed. It will be this like dash here. And this fixed, I do not want to make it fixed. I want it to be able to move freely. Now, as you can see, I can't drag it. Now, right click, make float, and now it's okay to move, you know, to any direction. Okay, so I can move it to any direction, to the left, to the right, no question about it. And I can make mates normally, front plane and front plane. I just want them to coincide, mate, coincident, okay, more. So, for example, I can open history tree here. It's you can press C, a top plane of the space and top plane of our part. Again, Control, hold Control. Again, SolidWorks offers us automatically that they can coincide. This one, perfect. Later, let's go on and continue. For example, right plane here and right plane here. Again, it offers us them to be coincident. This is it. So now all the planes of our part of this main body coincides with the parts with the planes. All the planes of the part coincides with the planes of the general space of the assembly. It will help us in the future. It's just the better way to do modeling. So let's jump into creating other parts. The best part here is that we can use the elements of the main solid body for new bodies that we create. For example, let's start, I mean the simplest one is magazine, insert components, and we press new part. We pressed new part, and you see the green check mark appeared near our cursor. And the only thing that SolidWorks is waiting from us is that we click at some plane. We click now at any of the planes to start the first sketch of our new part, this one. Okay, which plane will we choose? This magazine has a symmetry with respect to the front plane, so we click on it and we start drawing. We use a line tool. Let's draw here, 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 and maybe here, okay? And let's drag, press escape, and let's connect these points. So these two are vertical, this one is horizontal, and we should be able to move this along, as this magazine should be going like a little bit up, because the bullet should be like along this barrel. So not too high, but once again, if something is wrong, later on we will be able to adjust everything along the way. We finished it, and we should do like extrude to both sides features. Extrude both base, we extrude this magazine. Now it offers us to extrude it to this side, but we want to both sides, so we choose here mid plane. And unfortunately, our current blueprints, they do not tell us anything about the width of this magazine. How much should the width be here? Because we do not have the view of this rifle from the bottom, unfortunately. So we should decide by ourselves. And usually with blueprints, they do not give you like complete understanding of the model. They just give you some sort of proportions, and this is it. So let's compare it with the width of our rifle. If you can see, the width of our rifle is here, it defines by this edge, and the width of the magazine is here, so they should be pretty close, but not very close. So it's now 1.8 here, and let's make it maybe 1.5, okay? 1.5. Okay, 1.6, no, 1.5. It just depends on you. Again, you can change it later on. So it is our magazine. It looks not very narrow, not very wide. Okay, and let's make a fillet here. Fillet here, and you can see that this radius of fillet is too large. Usually, if it's like really large, like maybe 4 centimeters, oh, you can see the preview here, but if we make, for example, 100 centimeters, you will not see any preview. If you try to apply fillet and there is no preview, it means that it cannot perform it with the conditions that you give it. For example, we want just a small radius fillet, maybe 0.2, like this, and not more. Okay, and one more, just a second. We also edit feature. We also wanted to add fillet to the other side. Here, perfect. Now it's done. Our magazine is ready, and we exit from this part. Do you see what happened? We just created new part inside an assembly, and what you can do, you can open this part just independently, and you can once it's built for you inside assembly, you can save it as a separate part file. Save as, go to your desktop, we have a rifle, and part 1 we make its name like magazine. We save it here, just to make everything separate, so everything will be saved not just inside an assembly, but also as well in the other areas. So we can jump inside our assembly, and let's talk a little bit about creating new parts. It's like a very important issue. So once you create a new part inside an assembly, the best thing that you can use elements of other parts to be used as references, and in this case you will be able to make everything fit together. For example, when I create new part, like insert component new part, once again check mark near my cursor, and SolidWorks is waiting for me to make a click on the plane. It will be the first, if I click on any plane, on this plane or to this plane, automatically I start the first sketch of my new part. And once it's done, for example, I can click on the top plane, and what happens that all the other parts of our assembly, they become transparent, and it is a clear indication that they are transparent. I cannot change them at the moment. I can work only here. I can add material now, it will be added to this part, I can make changes, but no matter what I do now, I cannot change other parts of my assembly. Even if I make an extruded cut to delete some material, or if I add some material, this material will be added or deleted only from this part, and it will not affect these parts of assembly, not at all. But the most important thing, that all the elements of the previous part of the assembly, they are available here. I can, for example, click on this segment, on this segment, on this one, and I can use them to build planes, references, to build sketches, to make some sort of lofts. So all the other elements of the previous parts are available, even though I'm here. I'm like, all my construction tree will be reflected here, and it will be inside this assembly. Now I can just quit it, and again I can quit editing part mode, and I can quit this part. So this part is created. In order for me to edit some part of the assembly, I make a right click on it, and I make like edit part mode. So let me save and continue this assembly. Just a second. It's to the rifle. Save and continue. So doesn't matter. So we can edit this part of the magazine now. As you can see, magazine, we are in the editing part mode, and this is an indicator that we can edit now only this part. For example, we can make a shell here, okay? We can make it hollow. Just let's apply shell, and the thickness of walls, you see there, if there is no preview, then the shell is, if there is no preview, then you should press here, but if there is no preview even now, then you should press other numbers, maybe 0.14. Okay, it's perfect. It looks like a good fit for us. Yeah, perfect. Now it's good. So you can see now that we can do changes on any part without affecting any other parts. But for example, if I want this segment to be used as a reference, or this segment to be used as a reference, I can do it. Yeah, so I can do everything in conjunction with elements of the other parts. And in this case, I can make sure that everything fits together. Because what you do, like in this sort of assemblies, you create everything all together, and in this case you can be sure that everything fits together properly. But of course you should, in this case, when it's created, you can open it as a separate part, you can look at it to see if there are any imperfections. If you do some changes here, they will be immediately reflected in the assembly, and of course you can save it as a separate part file, So it is like the main idea, to build everything all together. So let's do this barrel now. So our magazine is ready, and let's build our barrel. So we jump here, we build barrel, and again it was a new part for us, and why wouldn't it be a barrel? Let's rename it. Let's rename part. It's barrel. Just a second. Barrel. Okay. And we go to the editing part mode. Let's stretch it a little bit for this one, so we see everything perfectly. So edit part, we are in the barrel editing mode. Everything else becomes transparent. And we can see here that there is nothing. That's kind of a new part, but it's empty part. And we will start, we just only need now to start sketch here, for example, or here, probably on this front plane. And let's press Alt and arrow keys to rotate it. So let's start. Here we will build a rectangle. Here, a rectangle. Perfect. This one and this one. So let's press escape, and if you can see, we picked some relation here, and maybe we don't need it. If you have this sort of relations, in this case they will prevent you from moving points. Sometimes you accidentally pick it. Press on this green square and delete it. So we delete it. Now you can move it, and you can adjust this rectangle so it goes like along the barrel, like this. Like this. We will make other adjustment later on, but now it looks pretty fine for us. Not perfect, but pretty fine, especially on this side. So it's okay. And on the same sketch, while we are here, we want to rotate this rectangle to get this cylindrical shape. So we do like center line for rotation. When you hover over the segment, Solidworks always shows you the center. So we do it, and we come here. We'll come to the other side here. Perfect. And once again, if you want to avoid any problems with rotation, when you use this tool, Revolve Boss Base, you should never rotate the full form. You should always rotate the half of desired shape. The half of desired shape is the half of this rectangle. So let's trim the half of it, because if we rotate it, then we will not have any errors, any problems. Just remember the good rule: if you use this tool, Revolved Boss Base, for example, you want like a cylinder, you should rotate this half of this rectangle, not all of it, because it will have self-intersections, and in this case you will have rebuild errors and so on. You will have a lot of problems, but if you do it properly, half of desired form, then you will get nice result. We choose the axis of rotation here, everything is fine. The only thing that we can make a little bit shell here and there, not shell, fillet here, and fill it there, just to make it smoother. And again, our barrel is almost ready. The only thing that we want to make it like empty inside, because it should contain some bullets, and this is it. So we use shell function with this face. Okay, so this face is selected. It is the thickness of the walls. I want the thickness of the walls of the barrel to be maybe 0.25. I want to show preview to see if everything goes smooth. And if you see yellow preview, it means that everything will go fine. If you don't see it, you will have some errors usually. For most of tools, some tools in SolidWorks, small portion of them do not have preview, like for example scale tool. But all the other tools like fillet, shell, they have previews, and if you do see yellow preview, everything is usually fine. But if not, everything is not fine. As you can see, everything looks very good here. We cannot see through the whole barrel, but we can see up to this picture. The only thing that how we can see through the whole barrel, we can make a cross section, and this plane we can drag by these handles, and we can drag it. Maybe we can reposition it like this, and we can move it by this arrow, and we can make a cross section of our barrel like this. And you can see here that, you know, there are some issues, and issues connected with that. Of course, portion of material of this main body are inside our barrel, so we will get rid of it very soon. We will get rid of it. And there is also portions of magazine comes inside our barrel. So if we speak in terms of the barrel itself, everything is fine with it because it's completely empty inside. There is nothing inside. But in SolidWorks, different parts of the assembly may intersect with each other, and there can be some material from other parts inside this barrel. It's not prohibited. It's not a problem for SolidWorks. You can move one part of assembly through the others, and you can have this situation. So now everything is almost pretty much ready. We will of course make some minor adjustments later, but our main goal now, when
when we finished with a barrel, when we finished with magazine, to reduce these unnecessary parts, because you can see, for example, magazine is hollow inside, but there is a huge portion of material from the main solid body inside the magazine, and we actually want to delete it. And there is the same here, the same issue here. There is a huge portion of unnecessary material from the main solid body inside our barrel, and you need to understand, if I want, for example, in assembly to delete this portion of material, okay, this portion, I want to ask myself, what part has this material? This material belongs to the main body that we constructed earlier, and it means that I can remove this material only, just exit editing part mode, only when I go to the main body editing mode. So only in this case, let's make again cross section. Once again, I want to delete this material. It belongs to the main body. That's why if I want to make this change to delete this material, I need to go to the editing of the main body, and there I will make like a clear delete of this material, and it will be not a problem for us. So let's start fixing our issues. Our goal is to make the barrel completely clear, to remove all the unnecessary material of this barrel. For example, this one we will remove from the main body, but this material, these two metal parts, we will remove from the magazine, so we will need to edit magazine in order to do that. And again, inside the magazine we will need to remove this one, and this one will be removed again from the main solid body, so we should edit the main solid body. In this case, this is like very simple, but nevertheless very useful to understand. So let's start doing it. We will use cavity tool. At first, cavity tool will help us to remove unnecessary materials, and the second is that cavity tool will help us to build, for example, cavity inside this green body for this barrel, because now it's not existed. For example, right click and press change transparency, so it's transparent, make a click anywhere. Now this became transparent, you cannot see it, and you can see that there is no cavity for this barrel in our main body, and we need like to make this to make it here, so we will do it. And the same thing, for example, if you make it visible again, we would like here to have an aperture for the magazine, but now there is nothing, and the magazine just intersects with it. We want to have something here. So we want to at first remove unnecessary materials of one part inside another, and the second we want to make cavities, and cavity tool actually will help us with it. So for example, we want to make cavity. Let's choose in which body at first. This body, okay? We do editing part, edit part, and we choose cavity. Once again, you can search among commands, you can press here cavity, and you will find this tool, and it works extremely simple. The main body is here. You need to choose any other part that will make cavity inside it. You can choose it on the screen to click on it, or you can press this, open this tree, feature manager tree, you can press C, it will be opened or closed, and you can choose a body here. If you hover over these bodies, for example, I hover over the magazine, you see the magazine is like shining. I hover over this barrel and it's shining now, so I can click it here. The barrel is added. I try to apply it as cavity. Usually it brings the cavity immediately, so you will immediately see the result when you hide it, that there is actually like a special space for this barrel appeared. But in our case it's a little bit different, because it's empty inside and there is a portion of material of this green body inside this one, so it will work a little bit differently. And let's look how it goes. Apply, and it says us that several bodies appears when we try to make a cavity, and it asks us which bodies do we want to keep. Look, for example, this one, when we make a check mark, you see the blue color here. It means that this body is selected, and this one we definitely want to keep. And the other one is the part of the solid body that lies inside it. Look what happened. Once again, let's keep it closer. We want to make cavity with this one on this one.
If it was not hollow, if it was like a complete material inside, there was not empty space, we would get it immediately and there would be a cavity inside this one. But once there is an emptiness inside, it will divide this solid body, this green solid body, into two different bodies. One outside this pipe and the other inside this pipe. And that's what happened. When we apply it says as bodies to keep. It means that it divides, this pipe divides main body into several. We say selected bodies. Which bodies to keep? This one, it's what we need, and this one is the body inside this, the solid body inside this barrel, and that's not what we need. We don't need it, so we don't keep the check mark here. This one, okay, bodies to keep, okay, and you can see now we have at first cavity inside our green body for the barrel, looks perfect, and all the unnecessary material of this green body that was inside the barrel, it's gone. Because if it was here, we would see it. Now we can see only elements of this green main body, because now we are in editing part mode. Everything else is transparent. If there was some unnecessary material, we would already see it here. So this one is finished. The cavity is done. There is no unnecessary material. Let's exit this part. We can see this barrel. Where is it? Let's make it visible again. If you want to make it invisible, click and press this one, and again this one to make it visible again. So let's make a cross section to see how it goes, if there is any material, and you can see now everything is fine. There is no green material, there is no material of green body inside our barrel. So cavity tool just saved our time. Not only it made the cavity of inside this green body for the barrel, but it also removed the unnecessary material here. Okay, that's what we will do here. We also want to remove this portion of a green body that belongs to this magazine. So once again, due to the fact that this material belongs to the green body, we need to edit again main body, edit part. And again, we use cavity tool. Cavity, and in this case, we want to choose magazine because we need this one to perform a cavity. Once again, if it was like completely solid, if there was no hollow part inside, we would immediately get the result. We would apply it and we would get a hole that goes through our rifle. But in this case, there is a little bit of green material inside. And once we apply it, again, it divides our green body into two separate bodies. And it says which bodies to keep, selected bodies. And I want to press on them to understand which one is this one. Okay, this one, when I press, you can see it's like shining. And this one I definitely want to keep, but this one that is inside the magazine, I definitely don't want it. I want to get rid of it. So I choose this one to keep. Okay, and this is it. We get just normal part of our rifle, and part of our job is done. Let's exit from our part and again open our cross section of our rifle. You can see now that the design looks much cleaner. The only thing that we have now, we have this metal part. It prevents our magazine to, like, for example, there will be bullets here, and I'm not a very big specialist in weapon, but I think that there shouldn't be this metal bar here, so we should delete it. And now we will do it. We will do cavity, and we want to delete this material. This material belongs to the barrel, and it means that we need to go to the barrel editing mode and to try to apply cavity by using a cavity from this magazine. Let's try to do it. Okay, so okay, cross section we need to turn off because because it's just we don't need it. Sometimes you should pay attention on this one. So let's barrel edit part. So let's make again cavity, and we use magazine. We can click it here. If it's any problem with clicking here, just press magazine here, and again, okay. And bodies to keep again. Several bodies appeared. Let's look what is the issue here. Okay, body one, it's this one. It's the main barrel. Okay, and what is the second body? Okay, this is the second body, and that's what we definitely don't need. We don't need it, so we don't make it keep. We don't select it. We select only this one. Okay, and we have a cavity. and it looks nice. We exit from this part, and again our saver is a cross-section tool. We look here, so you can see the design is much cleaner. What do we need to do next? The only thing that we need to do, that if you see the bullet is here, the bullet will be here, there will be probably this heating mechanism that hits the bullet and it goes here, but these metal parts, they definitely should be gone. We shouldn't have it at all. These metal parts, they belong to the magazine, and we can delete them only if we go to the magazine editing mode, if you wish. So here is a magazine, and we should edit part. And again, you see there is no elements of our parts. Why? Because we just forgot to press this button. So now we are in the magazine editing mode. If we exit, everything will be visible. Again, yeah, if we go inside magazine editing mode, just a second, not the barrel editing mode, but magazine editing mode, everything else becomes transparent. It's like very important to pay attention what are you editing now. And we want to delete some portions of material from this magazine, and we will do it. For example, we can perform extruded cut. We can convert this circular edge into circle, and we can perform extruded cut through this barrel, and we will delete a portion of this one, and I think that it will be fine. So let's try to do it. Once again, we can edit only this part, but we can use elements of all the other parts of the assembly to make editing. As you can see, here is a planar edge, so it's planar. So magazine editing, let's try to start sketch here. I'm not sure why is this a problem. Maybe it's not planar. Again, I can't select this planar face for any reason, no problem. I go to reference geometry and I will build a plane that passes through this circle. This plane is ready, and I want to make this circular edge as a circle, so I use convert entities. Do not pre-select anything, it's not necessary. Use convert entities, and just click when convert entities is opened. Once again, start a sketch on this plane, and press convert entities when the sketch is already here, and press on this, just a second, press on this edge, not on this edge. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to select if you have many elements here. Okay, and this is a circle, and I will use it as an extruded cut through the rifle in order to cut the portion of my magazine. You can see here. So hopefully it will help us, but you can see already some issue that magazine is a little bit higher than expected, a little bit higher. So what I need to do now, I need to make it a little bit lower, so this cut will be okay with it. Okay, do you understand what I mean? So I will make it a little bit lower, and then I will perform this cut. At the moment, I will not delete the sketch. The sketch is here. This magazine appeared from this action boss extrude, and it was based on this sketch. And at the moment, I exit the sketch here, in order to make magazine a little bit shorter. It's here boss extrude based on this sketch. I make edit sketch, and I can make magazine, just drag it a little bit lower like this. Okay, it's fine. Everything seems to be fine. I exit this sketch and I return to the sketch where I made a circle here in order to perform my extruded cut again. Features, extruded cut, and again I manually can grab it and move it to a certain distance that is suitable for me. And now you can see it's good. It will cut a portion of our magazine. We'll hope that everything will be fine, there will be no errors, but we will see how it goes. You can see everything looks good. Let's exit this part. What happens here, we will look at cross-section, and you can see that now everything is clear. Magazine looks clear, no unnecessary elements, no unnecessary material in the barrel. Now we will finally build our scope. So it will be pretty easy modeling. So let's start. At first we need to create new part here. New part is created, and Solidworks is waiting us to make a click to any plane, and the first sketch of new part will be started. So the scope is here. Let's hover over the planes to understand which plane should we click. And luckily, from the very beginning, we located the scope in this way that this circle is along this plane, so we should click obviously here. And the first sketch is started. It is started on this plane. Okay, so let's jump here.
and we make a first circle of here. So how we will build our scope? We will make it as a loft, and we will just build several circular profiles and we connect them with loft. It's a very common technique. At first you build profiles, sometimes you need to add guide curves, but it depends on the situation. But usually you build profiles, you connect them with loft, and if something is more needed, you just add some guide curves. But in this case, you know, first circle is started, press escape to get to cursor, and it's a little, make it a little bit bigger like this, because this blueprint is not like a rule, but more it's like recommendation of what you need. And I want to build also other circles in parallel planes, and I want all these circles to be like on one line. So the center of this circle, the center of this circle, of this one, all the center should be on the same line. And it does make sense for me, before building these circles, at first to build the line that passes through the center line of this scope. And I can do it, no problem. So let's exit it. Let's start three-dimensional sketch, and we will take a segment, and we will start sketch from this point, from the central point. And it's very important, we want this line to be the central line of our scope. Pay very close attention to this axis. They show us the relation of axis in respect to our model. You know, when we rotate, they also rotate. So we want this line to be like this. It means that it should be parallel to z-axis. So let's try, and now we have xy near our cursor. It means that the segment will be in xy plane, not what we need. Press tab, it will be in yz, not what we need. Press tab in xz plane. When we draw a segment, it will be in this plane. Okay, it works for us. It works for us, so escape. So the segment now is parallel to the plane xz, xz. So, and we want it to be parallel to z axis. Okay, just press escape, press on it, and choose along z. Now it's along z, it passes through the central point, and it will be the central line of our scope. So we will build circle here, circle here, circle here. But in order to build these circles, it's better to create planes like here, plane here, plane here, and in each plane we build its own circle as a separate sketch. So if you know techniques like how to build planes from the reference geometry, it's an very easy thing. For example, if I have a segment and any point on this segment, what I can do, for example, I can build plane like this. Just a second, I exit 3D sketch, and what I can do, I can build plane just like this. Plane, one reference is segment, the other reference is point, and it will be the plane that is going through this point perpendicular to the segment. That's what I can do. So let me add points along this segment on the places where I want to build my planes. So here it's 3D sketch. Let me edit it so it's not finished. I will place points here, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here, and 1 point here. So this is it. And let's make, let's make not escape and put this point to this position. Let it be like this. So we chose our points. Let's exit this three-dimensional sketch. And now we can build planes one by one without any issues. Feature, reference geometry, plane. Click on this segment as a first reference and to this point as a second reference. So our first desired plane is built. Let's start sketching it. Let's start sketching it. Right click, start sketch, and we will draw circle here. I want this circle to be a little bit smaller than this one. Okay, so let's do it. Circle. We are in two-dimensional sketch right here. Okay, once again, you can see that it's like probably it will not fit perfectly because we get blueprints from gaming website. It's not an engineering blueprints, and if we look from the top, it's a little bit off. Whether from here it fits pretty much perfectly, but from the top, if we look, it's a little bit off, and it's not an issue if there is no big deviation. Once again, your blueprints are just recommendations. It's not something that you should follow like 100% when you do some free modeling, but it's good to follow as close as possible. So this is it. This one is done. Perfect. We exit from this sketch. We start new sketch.
and we create new plane now. Features, plane, reference geometry plane. Again, first reference this segment, the second reference is this point. Done. We get a plane and we get a sketch on this plane. Let's build a circle here. Okay, let's build it like this one. As you can see, there is a little bit deviation from this one, but again you can see that when you look at this shape, it's a little bit curved. It doesn't look like really perfect, so we can use just it approximately. So later on we will do the same, place circles here, here and here and connect them with loft. But what I want to do now at this moment is to look how my loft will look like. So I exit from all the sketches and go to features, lofted boss base here. I don't like to select it like this. I like to select it from this one, because in this case it's much more convenient. Press C to open this tree. You take this sketch, and this sketch, and you can see for some reason you can see why there is no surface, because this connector is not in a good position for some reason. SolidWorks decided to make for me a connector in the most terrible way, so I can't use it. Okay, let's make it just manually. Again, 1, 2, 3. You know what happens sometimes with loft? Obviously we can create loft here, but your first clicks, they define the connectors here. And if the connectors is like this, the surface cannot be created. It's like self-intersection here. That's why you should like clear selections and be correct in order for you to avoid any mistakes. Sometimes you can take it manually, but sometimes if you have like issue like I do, you should try to click on pretty similar points everywhere here. And what will be the similar point on this circle? Like here, okay, there will be the loft, and pretty similar point here, okay. So finally we get it, and you see it looks like a part of the scope. It looks good, so we shouldn't fix anything. We could add some guide curves and add it to this table, but the rule is if everything looks perfect, you do not need to add any guide curves. It's only in the case if something goes wrong. So everything looks good. Let's close our loft and let's continue our journey with building planes. So we do features, reference geometry plane. Oh, it's very smart. It already understands what we want. So it wants to build this plane, but let's set the segment as a reference. So it will be like perpendicular to this segment through this point, and perfect. So it's here, and we start a sketch on this plane. And again, we want to make circle, and you know, this circle here will be probably equal to this one, and I can do this thing that if I have an equal circle to this one, I'll just use convert entities, and I will project this circle to my current sketch. And you can see it's here, it's equal, because when you have a convert entities, you will have like equal sketch here. And sometimes it's very important to understand that you want to change it a little bit. For example, I want to change the circle a little bit, but if I try to drag it here, you can see that the radius is not changing, because when you use convert entities, the circle becomes by default black. It's fully defined, and it's governed by this small square, this relation. And this relation, it's for converted entities, it defines the equality between this. If you want this sketch to be changed, press on this small square and delete it. Press on this one and press delete. Once it's deleted, it became blue. It means the sketch is not defined, and you can drag this circle to make it larger and so on, because sometimes you need to transfer the sketch from one plane to another, but you want to edit the sketch later on. And once again, you use convert entities, then you delete the relation, and then you can drag it to different sizes. So press Ctrl Z, so we go back to the black sketch, and so everything is fully defined. Now we built the plane here. So exit the sketch, again, features, reference geometry, plane, this point and this segment, the plane is built. We want to build some circle here, and again, let's use our famous technique that we just described, convert entities. We start, just a second, we forgot to start a sketch. And we use convert entities to transfer this circle here. Convert entities, transfer circle here. It's coming, and we delete this relation that we do not need, and we drag this circle a little bit to make it wider. Okay, just a second, everything should look fine. Let's look from the top. If everything fits together pretty much to the plane. Yeah, pretty much it looks like this. So it's good. It's a little bit bigger than this one, but not really bigger. And this circle, I think that it should be equal to this one, because it doesn't look like the scope goes wider. It even goes probably in the same manner. So let's make this one equal to this one. So let's exit this, and we build the last plane here. Features, reference geometry plane. We pick this point and this segment as a references. Okay, the plane is ready. We start a sketch, and we will transfer the previous circle here, and we will use convert entities, and we press here, here, and we convert. It's transferred here. Perfect. So let's try what we get now. Our circles are ready. There are no guide curves at the moment. Let's try what the shape of the loft will we get here, because you know it depends on the situation. Sometimes we get a great loft, sometimes it's not so good, so it depends on the situation. Let's try to build it. Features, lofted boss base, and let's add all our profiles. And again, as we had problems, we will do it like in the most in the most way, just in the most safe way. This point, oh no, nothing pre-selected, clear selections, nothing pre-selected. This point, this point, this point. Okay, you see the connector goes nice. Nothing seems to be wrong. Oh, this one goes wrong. That's what we don't want to see. We probably don't want to see this kind of narrow, but nevertheless, let's try with others. Let's try with others. As you can see, the scope is pretty much defined. We can even, you know, just adjust connectors here. For some reason, it doesn't move, but you know, it's not a problem at all, because we will not end up with this type of scope because it doesn't look properly. However, if we just delete these and we will leave with the first three profiles, this one part of the loft looks good, so we shouldn't change it. And why shouldn't we take it for us? Because if some part of the scope can be built now, that's good. Let's try it. And maybe if we try to do loft here, it will also work perfectly. Maybe they don't work all together, all these profiles together, but maybe they can work separately. Let's press lofted boss base and try to add these profiles. Again, try to click on pretty much similar points here, here, here. And if you can see, everything is nice. It looks nice. It's a good part of the scope. It's a good part, so we should definitely take it. So, okay. And finally, let's try to connect these two with loft. We will see how it goes. So this profile and pretty similar point on this. Oh, no. Pretty similar point on this profile. And you can see that now it works pretty fine. So when we had all these profiles all together, there was some issue, but now it looks like very good. So there are no problems, and we don't even need any guide curves. So we have it here, and we have it here. And how many solid bodies we have here? We have only one solid body, like this one, because all of that was like connected to each other. So the main part is finished. And what we will do now, we will add these controllers. At first, we will add this controller, and there will be also the other controller, in order to see that there is also the other one, solid body, and you make it hide a little bit for a while, so there is another one, as you can see. So we will build this, and we will make this one hollow, and we will also build these holders for our scope. So let's continue. And before we continue, we should notice that it is a time now to get rid of several blueprints. For example, this blueprint, this one, this picture from front view, and this blueprint, the back view, it's like not what we need now, because we already used information from these blueprints, and we can hide these pictures. We can hide this one especially. It's important because we will use a shell function to make it like completely there is no material inside, and we'll also add some lenses, so we don't need this one to prevent our view. So these pictures, they came with the main body when we inserted it in assembly. It already was there, and if you remember, when we were creating main body, we added these pictures just right from the start. So I mean, they are here in these sketches, sketch picture, and if you see it's a bright sketch, it means that it's visible. But if it's like this one, right click, make it invisible, and you can see we hided some sketch, and it's not invisible. But now we do not have an intention to hide
this one because it may be useful for us to create this part. Yeah, we will have some reference. Let's hide another sketch with its sketch picture on it. Yeah, that's what we wanted to hide. Okay, let's hide this one. Okay, perfect. So now there are no sketches that we didn't want to see. This sketch, we can also hide it. It's probably here, but we can use it later on because it's like a top view. We can use it for future purposes. The only thing that in this blueprint, I should tell that we will not build these legs. It's, you know, the legs, two legs of the sniper rifle, they can be placed like one here in triangular shape to be like to be stable in order for a rifle to be stable on the ground. But you know, when you play Counter-Strike, you know that you never use it. Actually, you can't go on the ground. You can just squat in Counter-Strike. You can run, you can squat, but these one are not used. That's why we will not build this legs. So we will finish with this one. And the only useful information that we have here is probably from this and this one. So without further discussion, let's build this controller. Press space, we come here. Okay, so at first, let's build plane that is tangent to this cylinder, and it is tangent at its like upper point here. So let's start here, and in order to do it, there are many ways to do it, but let's get with the simple one. Let's start through 3D sketch. 3D sketch, we make segment. We make this segment to start, for example, from here and go up. You see YZ. YZ, it means that the segment that we are drawing now, it's in YZ plane, and we should pay attention, escape to this axis. And YZ is actually what we need, so it's like this, and we need it to be along Y, because we want it to be up. So let's press it along Y, and we want this point to belong to the upper part of the cylinder. There are many ways to do it, but for example, let's make like this. This one, Control, and this point, escape, nothing is preselected. Press on this edge, Control, this edge, and I want them to be coincident. Once again, escape, this one, point, Control, circle, coincident. Now it works. Perfect. So now this point belongs to the surface of the cylinder, and you can build a plane from reference geometry that passes, exit 3D sketch, that passes through this point that is tangent to this cylinder. Let's do it. Reference geometry plane. The first reference is the surface of the cylinder, and the second reference is actually the point, and we automatically get the result that the plane that passes through this point and tangent to the cylinder. Okay, and we will build our holder here. Okay, there is some sort of, you know, material here, but we do not clearly understand from this blueprint what is this material about. So we'll just build holder here, like a round one, and it will be okay for us. So in order for us to get a central line here, because I want to get central line here, how to get the line of intersection of this cylinder and this one? Let's make, for example, start sketch on this plane. Where do we have our main plane? It's inside. We are just a second. We are inside our body, or inside our, not inside our main body. Just a second. We need to understand where with it. We are here inside the assembly. We build this plane and we start sketch here. Perfect. We want this line to be reflected on this sketch. Sometimes it's not necessary. Let's try to make it to be intersection curve, and press this face. And what will be the intersection curve of this space and plane? It will be exactly this line. Now you can see there is a black color to it, so it should be. I don't see it clearly, but yeah, it is an intersection curve. So now it's available here. We will use it for the future purposes, and we already in the sketch we will draw a circle right on the position where this holder must be, and it will be symmetric with respect to this line. So sketch, we start a circle, but where to start it? So it should be here. So the only thing for me to understand where to draw the circle here is to make this body transparent. So before drawing circle, I go to this loft and I make it transparent, and here, okay, again, this sketch, I'm inside it, and now I will draw my circle that I need. Okay,
I make it like this, so it's in the proper position, and I want this point to be right at the center. This point, hold Control, hold this line, and make coincident, and it's pretty much what we need here. Perfect, so the circle for this controller is ready now, but as you can see, when we look from the top, we see one story. Just a second, from the top, we see one story. Okay, we missed a little bit, and it's good that we made double check. Just move it along. Okay, move it along. Once again, look from different sides, and now it looks okay. Now it looks again. Once again, perpendicular view from press space bar, and here it's pretty much what we need. Not like exact much here, but we know that there is a little bit deviation between this blueprint and this one, but that's okay for us. Okay, let's go back and let's return the visibility to this loft, and we will make an extrusion from here, and we will make an extrusion to both sides. We will extrude this circle up, and we will extrude this circle down to both directions. So let's do it. Features, extruded boss base. So we should be inside the sketch. Just a second. We go inside the sketch, and we make an extruded boss base, extrusion of this circle, this one. Perfect. So of course it offers us to extrude the sketch in one direction. So we will make some extrusion, not for a big distance, up like this, pretty much on this distance that we have it here. Okay, let's do it. Okay, and the only thing that you can see that we have an empty space between this cylinder and this cylinder here. It means that we also need to extrude it to the other side up to this surface. So the direction 1 is activated. We have it here. Direction 2 activate, and it offers us to make like stupid extrusion, just a blind one. So it will be inside this inside our scope, but we don't need it. We don't need it to go inside. We don't need it to go up to this surface. So we choose up to surface, and in this case we should add here the surface of this cylinder, and you can see here we have the necessary extrusion. Okay, perfect. Now we have it. So the first one is ready. The only thing then, when you have a controller, you should understand that you also have these small divisions here, just small divisions, and we will do it now with circular pattern. The only thing that we should plan beforehand, and we will have two controllers, because if you look at your scope, you have this controller and this controller, and there is also another one controller here, but we can make 3 of them. It's not a problem for us. We can make 3 of them. So, but the only thing that it may be a little bit larger. So what we do now, we will adjust a little bit the size of this controller. We will make it at first a little bit smaller, because I'm pretty sure that when we move it to the other side and to the other side, there will be 3 of these controllers. If they are that large, they will not fit together, they will intersect with each other. We don't want it. It is the first thing. And the other thing, if I'm going to copy this controller to the other sides, I want to keep it as a separate bodies, and I want to keep it as a separate bodies. And here the point when I need to understand this one. When I make this extrusion, I add some material. And it's very important to take away this check mark merge result. What does it mean? If this check mark is available, it means that all of this material will be added to the material of the scope, and it will be this material and this scope will be one solid body. And in this case, I will not be able to move this one, this controller separately. So take away merge result, and in this case, this controller will be a separate solid body. You can see it here, separate solid body. And now I can move it with circular patterns, with any other patterns, just in the way I need. The only thing before moving it, again, as I told you, we should a little bit adjust it. So it comes from the extrusion of this sketch. Let's edit this sketch. Let's make this circle a little bit smaller. Let's drag it like this. I think it's a reasonable size. Okay, press escape, So, okay, now it's good. Maybe it's a little bit higher than I wanted. Just a second, the
the last one. So we boss extrude, and up to this distance, let's make it a little bit lower, like this, okay? Maybe it's not in a complete, it doesn't coincide completely with this one, but we just wanted to look properly for us, because it's just, this blueprint is just a reference. Okay, it looks better, and now we want to make this kind of, you know, divisions here, small cuts. Small cuts. How can we do it? We will make one cut here on the side, and then we will multiply it with a circular pattern. So let's do it. How to perform this cut? So there are several ways. We want at first to build the plane for construction. Let's start sketch here, and we will build some segment for our future plane. So let's build segment. It will be an auxiliary one. Let's just draw it from the midpoint, okay? Let's just draw it from the midpoint. Okay, we draw it here, escape. So the segment is ready here, and what we want here to do, we want to exit the sketch, and we will build the plane now with reference geometry that is that passes through this segment, okay? That passes through this segment, and that is perpendicular to this face. So let's try to do it. Plane, face, segment. Perfect, it's what we need. Okay, the plane is ready. It is a plane for us to build a sketch that will perform a small cut here. So let's look from this view, and let's make a little bit of rotation, Alt, and press Alt and arrow keys, so that you look from the right side. Let's build a small triangle here. Just a second. Sketch, small triangle. I just hate when it just throws me away. When you start sketches, sometimes SolidWorks decides that it needs to throw you very, very far from where you are now. I'm not sure why is it, but let's build it like this. Escape, enter, return to the segment creation tool, like this, like this. Okay, so we will perform cut here with this triangle. We will perform cut. So let's make these points coincident. It seems like I pick up some relation, just, you know, to avoid any misunderstanding. I will press escape and just delete these relations. Sometimes when you draw some simple stuff, it just goes wrong because you pick up some unnecessary relations that you don't need. So now it's okay, we deleted unnecessary relations, all the problems disappeared now, and we want this triangle maybe to be a little bit wider. So, and we make now extruded cut, okay? We'll make extruded cut from this triangle, this one, and not in this direction, definitely, but like this one. Yeah, that's a good direction, but we need it maybe to do it like to both sides, like mid-plane, okay, mid-plane, and very small cut here, very small, just a second. Okay, it fits for us, so let's try to apply it, and we will see that there is a cut for controller, and we need, it is a feature, and we can multiply this feature with a circular pattern along this circle, and that's what we do. We do linear pattern, circular pattern, and we go to the direction. We can press, for example, this circle, direction, this circle. No, it doesn't allow us to do it, so just a second. Maybe what we can do here is we can bring another circle for the direction. Let's just make it very simple. If we do not understand what is the issue, we'll just bring it another circle that will show us the direction. Okay, this is direction. Perfect. Exit this sketch. We're in three-dimensional space, and we do again a linear pattern, circular pattern. We choose direction as this circle. It should be able to select. We should be able to select this one. I don't like when it's happening. Okay, now we can select this edge. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you can't select one thing and cannot select others. Not a problem at all. So this edge is selected as our direction, and we want to make this feature, want to multiply this feature along this direction, and we use features and faces, and we can just click on this one. We can features, click on this one, and you can see that this feature is selected. You can also select this feature from
this manager tree. The only thing, you should find it here, you should find cut extrude, and you will be able to click and put it here. So now it's multiplied, but we need not one copy, but we need more of them, like this. More of them. Just press this arrow and we are good to go. Perfect. So now it's done. Now it looks like a controller from both sides, and it's very important that we keep this controller as a separate solid body. Just a second, we do not need open the bar, we need this one. And let's finally rename this part. Let's rename this part that it is our scope, in order for us to be able to find it faster. Just a second, scope, perfect. So, and you can see when I hover over it in solid bodies, it is a separate solid body, and it means that we can move it like around and we can work with this body separately. So one controller is ready, and as you can see in our sketch, we need to put it on the other sides. On the other sides of the scope, there are also other controllers like this one and this one. It's not only upper controller, but also others. So let's do it, no problem at all. So we make again, we will make a circular pattern, but now it will be this body, and as a direction we will rotate around this center line. We will use it now. So linear pattern, circular pattern. This line is a direction of rotation, and here we will copy these bodies. It is a separate body, not a feature, not something like this. So you keep bodies, you press check mark here, and you select this one, and you can see it's just too much for us. That's not how many controllers we need, but it just remembers from our previous application of this tool that we made 25 instances. We make maybe 3. It's just a very small spacing, so we make maybe two, for example. Let's try to make 3, because we need 3 controllers in general. Let's place them to a bigger distance, and as you can see here, what's happening that this controller is okay. We will adjust it to the other side. We will just rotate it to 90 degrees, and this will be done. So just let's press 90 here, and this will be done. But this controller on the bottom, we just do not need it for sure. So we need only 2 instances of circular pattern here, only 2, this direction. Okay, the other controller here is ready. It's also better than nothing. So, and we need also one more controller here. And what we do, we again apply circular pattern for this one, but we will rotate it to our other direction. Okay, let's pre-select it. Make, for example, circular pattern, and no, we want it to be in bodies. We want it to be in bodies. Let's place it here, and we want to rotate around this direction. Perfect. And we rotate it to the other side. So, and unfortunately, as I remember, we cannot put negative angle here. Let's try to put it minus 90 degrees. No, unfortunately not. But minus 90 in this direction, it's the same as 270 in the other direction. So we place 270 degrees, and it's okay for us. So it's fine, all our controllers are ready. And the most important thing that I want you to notice here, that all of these controllers are separate solid bodies. This one, this one, this one. And if, for example, in your sketch it seems like these controllers have different sizes, it is not a problem at all for you to achieve this situation here. For example, we want to make these side controllers a little bit bigger, and let's assume that these controllers are not, for example, of the same size. This controller is a little bit bigger than this one, and both of them are bigger than this one. Not a problem. So we are here, we use scale tool. Let's place scale tool. Okay, it's here, we use it, and this controller, and we can scale it. We can make it 1.4 times larger, uniform scaling. Okay, you can see now it's perfect, and this controller is really larger now, and it's look a little bit more like a probably usual scope, because I doubt that all of these controllers are of the same size. Probably they define, you know, different stuff. So this one and this one we also can scale. Let's make scale tool. Okay, we choose another controller, we select this body, and we make it maybe 1.1 times larger, just a little bit, like this one.
Okay, so it looks good, maybe 1.2 times larger. Let's edit this scale. Okay, 1.2 times larger. Perfect. And there is no preview, unfortunately. Scale tool is one of the few tools where there is no preview at all. So perfect. Now it's okay. So now we have it here, and we have our scope almost ready. So what we do now, we need to do here this emptiness. So we need to use shell, and we apply it to this one. We want to get rid of this face, and want to get rid of this face of the scope, and the thickness of the walls should be very small. It should be maybe 0.1. Okay, let's try to do it, maybe 0.15. Okay, unfortunately there is no preview. It's not usually a good sign, but we will figure out what is the issue, if there is any issue. Yeah, no, everything is fine. Sometimes, you know, usually there is a preview. Oh, there was no preview, that's why. Just open it and show preview, just press this check mark. In this case, you should press it. So for the shell tool, there is always a preview. Okay, so now we performed it. It looks good, even the internal shape looks good. The only thing that we left now, we need to add two lenses. One lens here and one lens here. We will use pretty advanced tool for it, like very convenient one, so I will show you. We want the lens to be like here, and it will be a little bit convex like this one, so this circle will be a foundation for it. So let's start a sketch on this planar face, and now it is just a circular face. We want it to be a circle on our sketch, so we pre-select it, we make convert entities, and now it is a circle of our sketch, and it will be like foundation of our lens. It will be an outer circle for it. So this one is ready, and what I want to do now, I want to define the outer shape of the lens. So I need the curve that goes like this, pretty much in the perpendicular plane. So what I want to do now, I want this center line to be placed here, so it needs to be vertical. It's okay. So to create a new plane, now I'm creating new planes with the reference geometry. I choose this planar face as a first reference. Okay, so the plane will be like this, but the second reference will be this segment. Again, there is something wrong, just a second, probably something wrong was pre-selected. Okay, first reference is this planar face, okay, and the second reference is this segment. So you can see the plane that passes through this segment perpendicular to the initial plane. That's definitely what we need. And here we will build like a guide curve, for our lens. So let's bring here a sketch. Let's start sketch on the new plane. Sometimes Solidworks, you see, throw us far away when we start new sketch for some reason. I just don't know why. So we want it to be like this spline. Press here, press escape, and press on this spline and use these handles to define the shape of the spline. Okay, these handles to define the shape, and it's very important for us to make sure that this point belongs to this circle. Okay, once it's like a constrained curve, this point, click on it, hold Ctrl and click on this circle and make pierce. Pierce means that this curve, this circle, will pierce through these points, and this is okay. And the same for this one. This point, click on it, hold Ctrl, click here, and again you choose pierce. Okay, now that's fine. And as you can see, we can use spline handles to control its shape, so it should be pretty much symmetrical for us, maybe like this one. Okay, this is it. Perfect. So we will build surface that is based on this circle and passes through this curve. So we go to surfaces and we use an amazing tool. It's called field surface. And this one, nothing pre-selected. I don't like it, so I like to select myself. This one is our foundation. This one is our boundary. And we need to add any curve that is like connects some elements on this boundary and this constraint curve. And we, for this purpose, we build this one. And you can see the surface is built. It's based on this circle and it passes through this curve. Okay, it is the portion, kind of, you know, the surface of our lens. The only thing I want to see this now what I created. So at first I check that I get like a new surface body, it's here, and I want to hide this body, this shell, I want to hide it to see that it's actually really, you see, as a surface. So what I do now, I want to reflect it to the other side. Let's make it visible because we'll need a plane from it. We'll need this planar face for reflection. So we do mirror. Let's go to features. We use mirror tool. Mirror face plane will be this planar face, and we want to bodies, surface body to mirror this one, and it will be mirrored to the other side. And you can see yellow that probably there is some preview, but we can't see it through this solid body. No problem, just click here, and again let's hide for a while our solid body, this one, and you can see here that we have a lens for this scope. The only thing that it's not a complete lens because it's hollow inside, it's just two surfaces and there is nothing between them. You can use cross-section tool and to drag it a little bit to see that when I make a cross-section, let me move it a little bit, just a second, like this one, and I will place it here, and we will see like inside you can see that it's empty, there is no material inside, so it's just two surfaces, and we want to fill it with material. And in order to fill the shape that is made by surfaces with material, we just select this one, Control. We can pre-select them, we cannot pre-select them, but in any case the use knit surface is for us, and it's very important for us. We add our surfaces here and we make check mark, create solid. It means we want to fill everything with like solid material, and merge entities. Okay, and now all of that converted to solid bodies. You can see now in these folders it's only surface fill, it's like initial one, but now you have here one more solid body, surface knit, and it's here. And let's just, better than everything, let's make a cross section here, and you can see that cross section shows you that there is a really material inside it, that it really can be considered now as a solid body. So it's done. So now we have our lens. Let's turn away cross section. So okay, now we have our lens here. And this surface fill, we just used an auxiliary surface fill. We don't need it anymore. Let's hide it so it's not in our way. We just need this one. And the shell, this solid body, we can make it again visible. We can make it visible again. So it is our lens. I want this lens to be made of glass, so it's transparent from the very beginning, so we can see through it. Very simple, just this one, use material, we will made it of glass. Let's take this one, glass, transparent one. Okay, so you can see that it's kind of, you can see through, you can look through. The only thing I need to change the position of this lens. So it's basically ready, and what I will do now, I will change its position a little bit, so it will be not at the end of the scope, but a little bit further, and we will take a copy of it, we will make this copy smaller, and we will put another lens here. So let's start doing it. We will finish the modeling of our scope, but the only thing now, it's only inside our assembly, and it makes sense to save it separately. Let's save it separately, open as separate part, and save as a part file. So you should save as, and as a part file in the same folder where your assembly is located. Save it, and go back to the assembly. Move copy bodies, this one, pre-select it, and we want to move it inside, and you can see by the preview everything looks fine. But when we try to apply it, there are some errors, it seems, because the half of the lens is here and the half of the lens is there. Sometimes it happens when we built this lens, we had some constraints. For example, we made this surface, and after that we mirrored with respect to this plane, if you remember. In some cases, these constraints prevent us to use move copy body. It doesn't work very well all the time inside the assembly, and if it works like this, you have two options. Whether you should try to understand in this construction tree, feature manager tree, you can call it anyway, whether you should understand where there are some constraints that prevent you from moving it, or you should just do it in a simple way. And in a simple way, if you can't move it like now, in any case, it's a separate solid body. Okay, here it's a separate solid body in here. Let's open the folder solid bodies. Here is it, surface knit. You can always save it as a separate part of assembly. Later on you can add it into our assembly, and this one you will hide and you will replace it by a new part. It will be the same lens, but you will be able to move it like anywhere you want. So let's do this option. It also works for us. So let's open this scope to save this lens as a separate file. So the only thing that all the other solid bodies should be invisible. Press this one in the solid bodies, hold shift to select all of them, make them invisible for a while, and you need to save it as a separate lens file to other location. Save as and go to your desktop and press lens, and we will actually need two lenses. One lens will be on the front part of the scope and the other to the other side of the scope. So lens 1, okay, and again save as and lens 2, okay, save as and lens 2. So we will have two lenses. This one you can return everything here to the normal view, close everything and close your initial assembly. So close everything, and now you have your new lenses here. You can open it. So this part should contain only one lens. As you can see, it is the case, and close it again. So throw it in the same folder and when you have all these files, okay? We do it in order everything to work smooth, you know, we don't want some errors, we don't want Solidworks to, to misunderstand our files. We saved it as separate lenses and we will open our assembly again, okay? It makes sense to do that, just, to avoid any errors. Now we will rebuild, we will say yes. So we will hide this lens. It's located here. We go to the edit part, we find the lens that we have had problems with, and we hide it. So now it's empty, there is nothing here, and we will go away from this part. We go into assembly and we add components, insert components, browse, and we want lens 1. Lens 1, and we drop it here. As you can see, it's located here, and it will be very difficult to move this lens to this position if we use only this move copy body tool like this one, and we can rotate it. We can also rotate it a little bit, but once I rotate it, you can see it's almost impossible to adjust this rotation so it will fit it once again. I can move it like this, but I can keep it very close, if I try, but it will be impossible to put this one to this position. The first thing that comes in my mind, how to put it here, maybe to use some kind of, circular mate, but in this case, I try to select them and press mate, and this edge is selected, just a second, this edge is selected, and this edge is not selected. For some reason doesn't select this edge, it can select only face. Nevertheless, it's not a problem. If you have a difficult part of assembly like this one with improper shapes, because it doesn't have much of planar faces, you can mate it anyway by using its planes. For example, here we have a lens and it has its own planes. It has its own front plane, top plane, right plane, and so on. So let's use these planes in order to mate. So this one, we make it visible, and let's click on this one. Let's click on this plane, and let's click on this plane. And once they are both selected, hold Ctrl to select both of them, press mate, so they should both be added, both this planar face and the plane of this one, and we want to make distance mate between them. Distance mate, the angle between these planes will already make 0, so I'm sorry, not 9, but 0 degrees. So these planes become parallel, now it's okay. And the next thing, I want the distance between them to be very small, but I want the distance to the other side, okay? So this one, flip dimension, maybe let's make it 0.5, like this. No, it's too small, just make 1 centimeter. Okay, and this is it. The only thing that will be left for us, we will need just to move this lens a little bit. Okay, now it's done, the mate is finished.
Okay, and again we go to move component and we just move it like here. Unfortunately, we cannot do like circular mate here because SolidWorks doesn't want to select the circular face of this lens. Nevertheless, we press here, and one lens is ready. It's in position where we want it to be. So it is like this, and it perfectly fits for our design. This is it. So the first lens is ready. The other one will be on the other side of our scope. Again, we go to assembly, insert components, and we choose lens 2. We choose lens 2, okay. So it's here, just drop it, and you can move it pretty close to the desired position. It's a good rule when you mate some elements. It's pretty good to try to first move them as close as possible to the desired position. In this case, it's very unlikely that you will have any errors. So it's pretty close, but not very close. Yeah. Okay, the same thing here. We have a lens 2, and we can only mate it because of its improper shape. We can only mate it by using its standard planes, and its standard planes are located, if you can see here. Okay, yeah, it's here. Front plane. Front plane, we click on it, we hold Control, and we want to click onto this planar face. They are both selected. Now we press Mate. Both of them are added to this table, and at first we want to make angle between these planes not 26 degrees like it's now. We want to make it 0 degrees. 0, okay. Now these planes are parallel. The second one, distance mate, and we want to figure out the distance between them. Again, let's make it 1 centimeter, okay, but we want it to be to the other direction, so flip dimension. It will be here. So let's try. If something is wrong, we will just adjust this mate and try to move it. Try to move this one. If it goes okay, so it's okay for now. But I mean, this obviously is too large. It doesn't fit for us at the moment. And how to make it smaller? We go to the lens tool. We make edit part, and we use scale tool. Make sure that you search among commands, but you know, just find scale tool here and apply scale tool for this lens and make it scale 0.7. 0.7, okay, like this. It will be smaller now. So let's look if it fits for us. Let's exit from this lens. Okay. It was a little bit misleading because, you know, this lens is transparent, and when I try edit this lens, like this one, everything is transparent. But you know, by default, when I'm in editing part mode, everything else should be transparent, but this one should have some color. But it doesn't have a certain certain material because we have chosen that it's made of glass. That's why it's always transparent. But other things are transparent not because they're made of glass, but because we're editing this part, and all the other parts now are transparent. Okay, so this one, and we can readjust it. Unfortunately, SolidWorks doesn't want again to let us take this one. Let's try to select this one and press Mate. It doesn't let us to select this on this edge to the mate. You see, circular edge cannot be selected for some reason, and I can't use like circular mates or concentric mates. So nevertheless, I just readjusted by hand here because we need only visual thing. There are no gaps, and it looks fine for us. And this is it. It is pretty much the position that we wanted, and it is much the position that we wanted. So the lenses are ready. The scope is almost finished. Probably the most difficult part was like a separate creation of these lenses, and we should like understand that we should add it into assembly as separate files to just avoid any errors. So, and this is it. We need to only to build this kind of holder here. And if you remember, we had a blueprint with a side view. And you can remember that all of these blueprints, they were inside the main body. We had several first sketches. You can see by this color that this sketch is like invisible, and by this color that this one is visible. Just turn it on, and you can see here we have a side view. It was hidden from us.
and now we will use it to make these holders, and it will be very simple. And once again, these holders will be a part of this scope, okay? So in this case, if we want to build additional material, we need to understand which body will it belong. Or maybe we can build this material as an addition to this one. Let's just add them to the scope and it will be fine. So scope, and we go to edit part, and we start here new constructions. So it will be very simple. The only thing, we need to start from some plane, and the main idea that I would like to build this, it's very difficult to see from here. I would like to build this kind of shape at first, this rectangular shape, and from here I want to build these columns, and I want at first to build a plane that will be foundation of this rectangular shape, and it will be a tangent plane for this cylindrical surface, okay? Well, for me, at first, what I need to do is to build a plane for this cylindrical surface that is tangent to it, okay? So let's again start editing our scope, edit part, and we need this plane. Okay, we can use this surface for our construction, it's not a problem. And let's do the next thing. For example, we have here, for our scope, we have standard planes. Where are they? Just a front plane. Yeah, we have this plane, right plane. Let's make it visible. Let's select it. Let's a little bit drag it here. And what I want to do, I want to get intersection curve of this right plane and this barrel. Let's do it now. So I start sketch on the right plane, and I go to intersection curve, and I can choose any face that intersects my plane, and in this case it's this one, okay? And I have this line, that's what I needed. I needed this black line, and the other one, not really. I can close it, and I can even trim away the line that I don't need, just it doesn't distract me. This line lies on the top of my barrel, that's what I need. Okay, so now I will build a plane through this line. Let's go features, reference geometry. No, we just need to exit the sketch at first. Features, reference geometry, plane. This line is selected, and the right plane that we used should be also selected, this one. And you can see we get the plane that goes through this line perpendicular to our plane. Okay, now it's fine, perfect. Okay, so, and we will use this plane as a foundation for this construction. We will build a rectangle. It will be like symmetrical with respect to this plane. So at the moment, what I want to hide this solid body. Now it's here, it's called shell, so I want to hide it so nothing distracts me, and I want to look from the top. So this holder rectangle will be like here, okay? So I start drawing a rectangle on my sketch. So it's my plane, it's my sketch that I already started. I'm editing my sketch. Now let's make it, or we can make a new sketch on the same plane. No, not a problem at all. We can make a new sketch, just not to interfere in the previous one. And we need to make a rectangular base here. So let's take a rectangle, and it will be for example center rectangle, and we can put it here on this line that is the center line, and we can drag it like this. As I understand, the width is we can define by ourselves. Press escape and drag the middle point to adjust its width, maybe to make it a little bit larger, just a little bit, and to drag it like this. Okay, it looks pretty well already. It looks pretty well. It shouldn't be like completely perfect. That's fine for us. And as you can see, we need to extrude it a little bit up and a little bit down up to the barrel, and that's what we will do now. Okay, let's do it. So let's extract it like this, extrude it, not extract, extrude boss base, and we go a little bit up to the distance when we think it's okay, like this one. And of course we want it to be also connected to the barrel with this one, because otherwise there will be like emptiness here. We don't want to have emptiness, so we go to direction 2 of extrusion, but not a blind one, but up to surface,
up to this surface. And you can see, even though we do not use the barrel, we cannot change the barrel, but we can use some elements of it for our construction. So it's done now. We can make a small fillet right away here. So features, fillet with a small radius, maybe 0.2 here. And let's make it on this face, basically everywhere. Oh, not everywhere, not here, definitely. Here, okay. Now it looks much better. This is like a part of our holder, and we need to make these two columns that are connected to our scope. At this moment, now we can bring our scope back to life. So it's here, and we can make it visible again. And we will make this kind of, rectangular foundation here, and we will extrude it up to this surface. Again, let's hide it for a second so it doesn't distract us. And we will make one here, one foundation here. And again, we will start sketch on this plane. We start a sketch. And again, we build here center rectangle. From here, center rectangle, escape, press it here. Okay, center rectangle. Okay, one is ready. And the other one will be here, center rectangle. It's ready. Perfect. And we will make an extrusion once again. The only thing that we can make, for example, we can fillet the corners of these rectangles right away. This fillet is too large for us. We can make it 0.2 right away. We could make it later on, but once again, you can select all the rectangle like this. You can press left mouse button and drag, and all the corners will be selected. And once they are rounded, just forget about all these relations. You can make them invisible like here, but not necessary. If it's a problem with the relations, you can hide them by pressing one of these buttons. You can find which defines the relations. So, and we do now what we want to do. We make an extrusion up to this surface. So as we need this surface, we make again this solid body visible. So it's visible now. And we make features, extrude boss base. This is pre-selected, so it will be extruding. And we go only to one direction, and we go up to surface, and up to this surface, of course. This one is okay. We can also make this kind of, rounded connections to make this circular parts that connected, but I think it's also okay. There is not necessary to do any other parts of connector because everything is pretty straightforward here. Okay, so now this surface, what it's about, let's look. Yeah, it's what we wanted to hide. Yeah, it's what we wanted to hide. So it's the lens that we couldn't move. We exit the editing of our scope. Now everything is perfectly fine. This blueprint we can hide now. We go to the main body. It was on the first sketch. Now we hide. And we also want to hide the other blueprint. It was also inside the main body in one of the first sketches. Okay, the project is almost finished. The only thing that is missing here is this kind of side part for recharging. If you look at Counter-Strike rifle, AWP, it has this part, and we will add something similar here. But at the moment, we can just add a little bit of appearances here just to take a look how the final project will be. So we can do just very simple. Very simple. For example, we can take this barrel and we can choose an appearance for this one. Of course, it will be made of steel, polished steel, and the color will be pretty dark, like this one, not a complete black, but like this. It looks fine for us. And in order to save our time, we can make copy appearance, like it's a paste appearance, and I want to copy. Yeah, I want to copy from here. Copy appearance, and I want to paste appearance on the scope, the same one, paste appearance, it's fine, and the magazine here, and I also want to paste appearance on it. Yeah, perfect. So it will look pretty much like this, and the side part for recharging, it will be made of metallic, so it will have a color like an iron, and the ball on the end of this recharger, it will be like a ball, it will be black. I would like to put these metallic parts for bullets inside our barrel, and we need to make a cut here, for example, rectangular one, and we would like to make it in this way. So we will build a plane that is tangent to the barrel, like here. We will build a rectangle on this plane and perform a cut. So let's start doing it. If we want to do something with the barrel, we should go here and enter the part editing mode. Here we need a plane that is tangent in this area. So what we want to do, for example, this one is a circular edge and it is a planar one. Let's build a plane here because that's what we can do now. Plane. Let's click on this one. It's like a planar circular edge. So the plane will be here, this one. And you can see what we can do. We can put point in this place, and we can use this surface and the point to use reference geometry to build a plane. So let's figure out where is the point here. So we need to start sketch here, just a second. And we need this point on the circle. At first we need to convert the circle, because now it's only the edge, it's not a circle. Okay, now it's a circle on our sketch, and we want to build point here. Perfect, the point. And we exit the sketch, and now we use reference geometry to build a plane that passes through this point and that is tangent to this surface. Okay, something is wrong. Once again, just a second. Proper face, I need to click on the proper face on this one. Once again, let's make it again. So reference geometry plane, first I select this one, and the second I select this one. Yeah, here is a plane. You see, sometimes it appears in a very small scale. It's a little bit difficult to see. However, when the plane is done, you can drag it to its corners. And what we get now in reference geometry, as a first reference we add point, and the second reference we add surface that contains this point, and we can build plane that passes through this point and is tangent to the given surface. So let's start a sketch here. And again, SolidWorks decides that it needs to throw us away. Use Alt and mouse, use Alt and arrows on your keyboard, so to rotate the model. Now we built a corner rectangle here. Let's do it like this. Let's start here, escape. Let's start here. And we can adjust it a little bit. What you need to notice now, that even though it looks like an extruded cut from this rectangle, we'll cut this material and this part. It's impossible because all the other parts now are transparent and only this one has color. It means that we cannot change the material here, we cannot change the material here. No matter what extruded cuts we perform, it will affect the material only of the part that we're editing now. So it's perfect. Just a second. We can make it a little bit narrower, like this. Okay, let's perform an extruded cut. Features, extruded cut. And we only need to cut this, this part. So let's do it. Okay, we have the cut that we intended to have. Maybe we can make it a little bit narrower. In order to make it narrower, we go here, sketch, because it depends on the sketch. Again, SolidWorks decided us to throw us a little bit far from our model. Let's make it narrower, like this, and like this. Yeah, now it's fine, so we will not make any other adjustments at the moment, except that we may fillet corners here a little bit, the last one. Again, SolidWorks, I don't know why when you start sketch, sometimes SolidWorks decides you to move you away from the model. Just this one, and let's make fillet here. This one is too large. Let's make 0.3. Okay, just a small one, so to avoid sharp corners. So this one is done. Perfect. Okay, we exit the sketch and our extrude cut is performed, and you can see that with the rounded edges it looks much nicer. So
we finished cut inside our barrel. What we need to do, we need to put another metallic part here that has, this handle. It probably, it probably used for as a bullet holder. So bullets from the magazine, I assume that they go inside the new part. So nevertheless, we finished with this barrel. We exit this part, and now we start creating new part that I just told you about. And we insert new components, meaning new part. And you can see again green check mark appeared near our cursor, and it's waiting for us to make a click on any plane, so it will start drawing the first sketch of a new part on this plane. You can see it appeared here. So as soon as this one will be inside, let's click on this plane, for example. And you can see what happened now. Everything else became transparent. It means that we are creating new part. It's here. It's like a blue color. And all the other parts are not they cannot be changed now. So everything what we do now is related to a new part. All the material that we add now, all the cuts that we do are only connected with the creation of new part. And you can see now it's pretty much empty. There is only sketch started on this plane. There is nothing here. Nevertheless, for SolidWorks, it's an empty kind of empty object, but it's still new part. And all the other parts are transparent now. So we cannot change them, but we can use them as references in creating new part. So this one will be inside, and let's start from the circle. Okay, we will draw it here. We actually can use this circle, so let's press escape. Let's use convert entities, and we click on this circle. Okay, and it is the first one in our plane. We would like to perform an extruded boss base of this circle. Let's do it manually. We can get it up to here. So make sure that it is inside our barrel. It looks like it's absolutely fine, because these are the walls of the barrel. They are made of metal, and it is like an internal part. It's empty, and now we have a cylinder here. Okay, so this one, perfect, and this one is finished. And the only thing that, as soon as it should contain bullets, this cylinder, at first it should be empty, so it seems like we should use shell function for it. So let's do it. And shell function, where is it? Shell. The thickness of walls should not be 1 centimeter, maybe 0.2, not a big thickness like this. We want to delete this one, and we want to see preview, of course. And the preview appeared. It means that everything is fine. Yeah, everything is fine. The only thing that is obvious that the bullets will come from the magazine to inside this part, and there is obviously no space for it, so we need to do an aperture here. There are many ways to do it, but we can do the simplest one. We can take this rectangle and perform an extruded cut here. So let's make it, but the only thing that this rectangle is a little bit inclined here. So what we can do, let's start a sketch on some plane here. So for example, we can start even here. Okay, we can start even here. Let's start a sketch. Again, we are starting the sketch on the face of the other part, and let's use convert entities to add this rectangle, and let's try to perform an extruded cut with this one. We'll see how it goes. Extruded cut. Okay, you can see that it goes not as we expected, but in the same time it goes like always by the direction that is perpendicular to our rectangle, and it's a little bit not what we want here, and it's also a little bit wider than we wanted. So at first, as you can see, we can add the other direction. We can go, for example, along this edge, and in this case the cut will be exactly what we need, but once again it goes through all the magazine, and we want like a smaller rectangle. So that's what we will do now. As I remember, the thickness of walls of the magazine was 0.15, as I remember. We can try it now. What we do now, we don't make an extruded cut, but we need to shift this sketch. How we do it? So we are still in this sketch. You can see it here. We do offset entities, and we offset all of that. But at first we do it's 0.15, just a small offset, and we do it reverse. We do it inside, reverse, once again, reverse. Perfect. Does it look like, let's take a perpendicular view, does it look like it's okay for us? Yeah, it looks like it's a perfect match. So there is a wall here of the magazine, so it's good. Perfect. It is a rectangle that we need, and the other one we do not need, but in any case, you know, in general you can just trim this rectangle away, but sometimes we can just use this one to extrude. Let's try to make an extruded cut immediately. So, and we need only this, it wants like between. Let's just, to avoid any problems, we just trim the unnecessary part, not to make SolidWorks confused which sketch, which elements should it extrude. Okay, this one. Just use trim tool to cut the unnecessary portions. Yeah, now it's good. Now it's clean picture. That's what we need. And features, extruded cut. Now it extrudes what we need. By default, it is a direction that is perpendicular to the plane. But again, we can here define a little bit different direction. Let's click to this edge, and you can see that it is the cut that we need. Let's apply it. Oh, it's too much. We do not need it here. It's too much. Just a second. So we come here, and it shouldn't be that strong. So it should be maybe up to this point, because we need the wall on the upper part. There is no need to cut it. But here you can see the cut was performed. Everything looks fine. Everything looks clean, and bullets can go through to this part. You know, I generally assume that it should be maybe the other cut. So, for example, we can make this part completely empty, just, you know, in case if this metal part is moving inside the barrel, no matter in which position it is, there will be like an empty space, and the bullet can go through the magazine here. So let's perform, just completely delete the material here. And as you can see, here is a planar face. We start sketch here, and again we can convert it to segments. It's a pre-selected face. We may convert entities. Now we have a sketch, and again we use extruded cut and of this sketch, and we change it to up to surface, and the surface is obviously this one. Okay, it's done. As you can see, there is no material here, so I assume that it should be like this way, or we could like leave a little bit of material here, just make it a little bit of material on the other side, not up to surface, but let's make it offset from surface. Offset from surface, and which surface is used for the offset? This one, but you can see it makes an offset to the other side. At first, we need to make a reverse offset, and we should make an offset for maybe for 1 centimeters. Okay, why there is no preview? Again, delete, offset from surface. Just a second. This is our not this one. The surface is inside. Okay, offset from surface. It shows like 1 centimeter, but 1 centimeter went to the other side, so we want to reverse offset. Perfect, now it works. So you can see you can make an extrusion, extruded boss base or extruded cut, whether up to surface, whether you can make offset from the given surface. In particular, you can click on any face and make it like this, and you can see the cut is here. I'm not a very big specialist in weapon construction, but I think that it should be something like this. And the other thing that we need to perform here, we need to perform this metallic handle that goes on the side, and let's do it. So it's not a difficult thing. So we need a plane here. We will build it as a loft. So we will build one rectangle here, the other rectangle will be on the other plane, and we will connect them with loft, and we will see how it looks. In general, we want a plane, again, that is tangent to this cylinder, to this internal cylinder, and that is, like on this line. So we will do what we did earlier, pretty similar thing. We start a sketch here, and now it's just a sketch. This is just a round circular edge. We convert it to circle by pressing convert entities. It was already pre-selected, so we have the result immediately. And we want to build a point here, like this one. Okay, and again we exit the sketch, and we need the plane, features, reference geometry, plane, select this one, and we get a plane that we need. It will be the first rectangle of our handle here. So we just we need to start the sketch at first, and again SolidWorks throw us away. So use Alt and arrows to navigate, to rotate your model, and use your mouse wheel to approach. So now we use, for example, corner rectangle, and let's make this handle, for example here, okay, escape. So we can drag it like this, we can drag it. So I'm just trying to figure out where should it be. I think that it should be at this point, because it would look probably like more reasonable if it was like connected to this point. I believe so, but you can change the position, it's up to you. This one. And I also noticed that there is a little bit empty space here. When we look from the side, you can see that this cylinder is a little bit short. We should make it a little bit longer, so there is no empty space inside our barrel. Before we finish our rectangle, let's exit the sketch and just click on our cylinder. It's a boss extrude sketch. Let's edit this feature, because we need to make it a little bit longer extrusion. Yeah, for example, like 19. If you see some sort of defect, if you see some sort of issue, you can fix it immediately, and later we go to our sketch, edit sketch, and again use Alt and your arrow keys to approach. So now we just will fix our rectangle. The only thing that, once again, I don't want this rectangle to have these sharp angles, and what we can do, we can make a fillet with a small radius like this. Here you can also select everything, just use your left mouse button and drag it like this. Just a second, clear selections, use the left mouse button, and sometimes you can drag. It doesn't allow me to drag. Once again, fillet, left mouse button, drag everything. Do you understand how it works here? You just use your left mouse button and you start, you press it, you make this green rectangle, and fillet will be applied everywhere. So, and we want a smaller radius, maybe 0.1. Perfect. So it's done. One rectangle is done, and we will build, the loft from here to the other side. There will be another rectangle, and after that you can see there is no connection here between this rectangle and the cylinder, but we will just make an extruded extrusion up to the surface, and we will add the material here in this way. So the first rectangle is ready. We need to build the other one, but if you remember, the handle goes like this, so the other rectangle should be on the other plane, and we need to build the other plane. We already have this one, and we can use it to get the other one. For example, we can go to Features, Reference Geometry. Let's exit the sketch at first. Features, Reference Geometry, Plane. And the first reference, we need to select the plane that we already created. It's here, like this one. And the second reference, we can choose any segment that our plane will contain. For example, it can be any segment. For example, we can make it a little bit lower, like this one. As you can see, what we get first reference a plane, the second reference any edge, and we get the plane that passes through the given edge, and that is like perpendicular to our initial plane. So our initial plane, the edge, and we get the result, the plane passes through this edge perpendicular to this plane. But it's not necessary to get it perpendicular. You can press this angle and you can make it like smaller or shorter, and you can see that this one is moving while I'm doing it. It's a small size, but it's visible. Let's approach. You can see that when I press this, it's changing, and I want it to be a little bit like this. So maybe it should be okay, which is maybe 67, 70 degrees. Let's make it something about 60, no, maybe more, 53. Perfect. In any case, if something is wrong, you can always change this plane. For example, I don't like its position. I see that I have a bad loft, and after that, I make a right click and I get like edit feature, and I always thrown to reference geometry, and I can change this angle to any other, so it's not a problem at all. Once this plane is ready, click on it so it will be visible, and drag it by these corners. So once again, do not select anything else, click on the plane and drag it by its corners. Okay, perfect. So we start a new sketch on the given plane, right click, start a new sketch, so we can draw. Let's make a corner rectangle, and again we should draw it maybe here. Okay, like this one. Again we do a little bit rounded edges, so make like this a small fillet, or you can just select all of them. For some reason it's not selected for me. Let me try. Sometimes you can drag the rectangle over all of that, sometimes you cannot, depends on the situation. I don't know why sometimes SolidWorks doesn't allow you to make this all selection, but in general this program works very fine, so it's very rare when you have any issues. So this is ready, and finally we exit the sketch. Don't forget to exit the sketch. In this case, loft will be available for you, lofted boss base, and this one is pre-selected. Okay, fine, let's select another one. Okay, again, you see the bad position of connector doesn't allow us to build loft. Again, usually I can make a connector, usually I can drag it, but for some reason now the program doesn't allow me to do it, and not a problem at all. Clear selections, we press here and we press similar point here. Again, clear selections, we press maybe here, maybe here. With this connector, it should be built, and maybe let's add start and constraints. Let's make it normal to profile. Yeah, in this case it will work. As you can see, you can play a little bit with constraints, and loft can be created. So in this case, why loft could not be performed in the previous case when it was not normal to profile? Because the surface, the solid body that contains this one and goes like this, it should contain on its side this segment, and in this case, if it contains this segment, this solid body would have like self-intersections. So the SolidWorks does not produce solid bodies with self-intersections, and in this case it just doesn't show us any preview because of that. And if we do normal to profile to this one, then it looks fine. So is it a good one or not? I think it's a little bit longer. Sorry for delay. So the last here that we need to move it a little bit. We're inside this sketch. We can edit this one again, and we will move it a little bit here. Okay, it's our last adjustment, and we are fine to go. So we exit the sketch and we do loft here. But as you can see, we do really nothing difficult here. We just adjust everything on the way. Let's make here, and again, it doesn't want to build it like this. Let's make start and constraints, normal to profile. Yeah, it's done. We can make some enhancements, but it looks perfectly fine for us. And the last thing that I want to do here, I want to make here like a ball, like a sphere, and it's very easy to do. So let's make a sketch here. Let's approach, and in order to make a sphere that is a little bit larger than this one, let's do it at first at the middle. Let's start we started the sketch. Let's make a segment, and when you hover over any other segment, the SolidWorks shows you the middle point. Okay, escape, and use circle here, and make it like this, a little bit bigger. And remember, if you want to avoid any problems with rotation, use always half of a desired shape. So we need to make it like this, escape, and we need to trim away like this one. Perfect. And now we can use revolved boss base. So we'll revolve this one around this line, and we have a ball here. It looks like this. And the important thing that I want this to be like this to be metallic one and this one to be black. It's my initial idea. So nothing prevents me from doing this one. Merge result. Take away this check mark. It means that this ball will be a separate material. It will be a separate solid body, and it will not be merged with material of this one. So we can do it. And for example, I want this extrusion to be a little bit narrower, so it should be smaller, and this sphere should be smaller as well. So what should we do? And of course after that we'll add this material here. Let's make readjustments. It's a good training for us. Again, we make readjustments to loft. We can adjust any sketch. Again, let's exit. Once again, loft, press here and make edit sketch, and you are in the editing sketch mode of this one. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, you can drag it and you can escape. You can drag it by this, and you can drag it like this. So this one is smaller. Okay, you can exit from the sketch. Now loft is reconstructed, and you can edit the other part of the loft, this sketch. Again, edit sketch and just approach here. To edit this one, you can make it again a little bit smaller here, a little bit smaller. Perfect. And again, as soon as you exit sketch, the loft will be reconstructed. Yeah, now it's much better. Now it's much better. And this sphere is also very big, so it's based on this revolve and it's based on the sketch. And let's edit the sketch, and we can do it like smaller. Just drag it. Perfect. Exit the sketch, and everything will be reconstructed. And now it looks better. It looks better for us. We will make this ball is a separate solid body, and you can see there are 3 solid body. This one is the main solid body. The other loft is a separate solid body, and this sphere is another solid body. The only thing that we shouldn't forget here that there is no connection between this one and this one. In order to get a connection here, you need to. You can see there is an empty space here. It's very easy to miss if you are consumed by the modeling process. So in order for me to get this, I need to make contact, and now I don't see this face. In order for me to see it, I can change the visibility mode. I can make it like this, so everything is pretty transparent, and now I can see it through. And what I want to do, I want to extrude this one, but now it's not a sketch. I can extrude some sketches. Now it's not a sketch, it's just a face of this surface. So what I do, I need to start sketch on this planar face. So so I cannot select it from here, maybe from here. Just a second. Sometimes what makes sense to do is to hide just some bodies that prevent you from having a good view. For example, let's make everything visible again. We have different visibility modes, this one, and you see we can't see anything because of this one, and that's why we should hide it for a while. Press on it and make hide, and now this one becomes available for us. So let's start a sketch here, and now as soon as I told you, there is nothing here, it's an empty sketch, but once this face is selected, you can press convert entities, and now you have this one here, and we make an extrusion of this feature, extruded boss base, and we make an extrusion up to surface. And up to which surface? Again, we should press on this surface, but this one is invisible. Make it visible again, and up to surface we choose, and the surface is this one. And you can see a small extrusion appeared here because just we need some material, and we need merge result because we need to merge it with this one. And as you can see, there are only 2 solid bodies now because these were not connected. These and these, they were separate solid bodies. But now we made this material and said merge result, and Solidworks merged this material with this one and with this one. Now it's one solid body, and it's located here. Yeah, you can press it here, and this sphere is another solid body. Let's give them some appearances very quickly. So this sphere will be made of rubber, so just rubber, and it will be a black one. So this is it. We don't need anything else. Maybe a little bit lighter color like this. Perfect. And this solid body, all the other stuff, will be made of steel. Again, right click, appearances, body, and here we choose metal, polished steel, and maybe a little bit lighter. We want it to be maybe gray. Let's try other steel. Let's try other types of steel. Maybe brushed nickel, but let's stick with polished steel because all the other parts of the rifle were made with polished steel. We only have to choose the color here, and it's gray. in general it fits for us, maybe a little bit darker. No, that's too dark. But once again, you can adjust your colors here. If you don't like, for example, this one, and you can adjust it to see how it goes, in which direction. If you like it, yeah, this one, if I move this one, it becomes like more gray. That's what I expected. So this one is done, perfect. You exit from editing of this part because this part is completely done, and you can give it some name. As soon as I'm not like an expert in rifles, I'm not very sure what is like a legal name for this one. So, but once again, right click, rename part, and you make it, for example, bullet holder. You know. Bullet holder. Okay, perfect. And what we see now, we have pretty much of a sniper rifle, and it looks like a mechanism. And the best part here that you can see that we made it pretty close to like normal requirements, because you can see that there is no material here. So if there are bullets, they can go inside the barrel, and they can go inside this mechanism. You can see it through the cross section. It is an empty space, so the bullets can go here. Probably if there are several bullets, there should be some spring with some mechanism that pushes them up, and there should be some mechanism that hits the bullet to its like bottom part. But nevertheless, you can see that it's like a pretty normal design based on reasonable ideas. Of course, it's far from the model of real rifle, but you know, as soon as you know the SolidWorks tools, you can keep it like that, and you can adjust everything. You can, for example, if you need to add something inside the magazine, some sort of mechanism just that pushes bullets down, and of course, probably you will need to reconstruct the magazine itself to make it a little bit more closer to reality. You can do it. You can come here, right click, and you can do edit part, and you can make all the editing to add necessary material, to add necessary part. You can even build a bullet in SolidWorks and put several bullets here. Just insert every bullet as a separate part of the assembly, so it will be like a more realistic one. And as you can see, the cross section is still here, and we can see the cross section of our rifle, and our design is almost finished. The only thing that when you finish your design in the assembly, you can see that these kind of artifacts, they are still present. So some sketches are visible. In order for them not to spoil your view, make a right click, make them invisible. All the separate segments, all the separate circles, you can just take them away. And so you can see there is an aperture for the magazine, so everything is fine. And of course, if you have a real scope is a very difficult model. It has several sets of lenses, and there is a very difficult mechanism here that, you know, controls this navigation. Of course, it's like if you look, for example, to the usual camera like Canon or Fujifilm, they also have special camera lenses, and these lenses, they cost $800 or $1,000. It's just, you know, almost minimal price, because this mechanism inside, it's very difficult. It has sets of lenses and also some technical stuff. It's like very difficult one, and we make only this kind of only visual part of it. So okay, let's turn away our cross section. Let's look if we are left with some sketches, and you can see that definitely here is one, here is a line that we used, and now it's visible. Let's take it away. Okay, nothing else. If something else is visible, not. So it looks like already like a normal rifle. The only thing that we can finish here, we can make minor adjustments with the barrel. As I told you, once your design is finished, it's not necessary for you just to throw it away and never use it again. You can make an enhancements up to the point that you like. And here we would like to make a little bit enhancements to the barrel itself, because you know the real barrels in the real world, they have this kind of threads which is called rifling. It means it just, you know, cuts of material that goes along the spiral, but it's a long spiral. And what this cut inside the barrel does, it makes the bullet rotate once it goes along the barrel. Because if it goes like this without rotation, the bullet is very unstable when it flies like normally. But once you have this special rifling inside, the bullet just forced to rotate when it passes through this one, and rotating bullet is like very, very stable. stable. Look at the internet how in real world rifling looks. You can see in Wikipedia that it looks like this, and these are very shallow cuts. They go like by spiral, and it's like a spiral that rotates very slowly. In real life it means that it's like a very long pitch. It means that it makes full rotation on a very long distance. The pitch is very big, and you know, the pitch is actually the distance along when it makes like a full rotation. Here it makes full rotation very slowly, so we need to go like very long distance like this when this one is performed. So the pitch is very long and very shallow cuts here. So we will perform a similar thing here, and once again we want to edit this one, this part. Before we do anything, we should enter in editing part mode. So here, and we start sketch. The idea that we will build a spiral, we will build a rectangle on the base of this spiral, and we will perform swept cut along this spiral with this rectangle. So we started sketch. We can open it to see where we are or not. Did we start a sketch? No, we just started it now. So on this planar face, and now it's an empty sketch, but we need a foundation for spiral, and usually foundation is a circle, and it's a circular edge now. It's not a circle on our sketch, but we can convert entities, select this one, and now it is a circle on our sketch. And immediately we go here and we open curves, helix and spiral, and you can see the spiral is appeared here, and you can see that it has a pretty long pitch and it makes a very small amount of rotations. It's pretty much what we need. If the pitch is short, for example, it will be like this, and it's not what we need, because in real life you can see here that it's like very big pitch. Okay, you can see just visually without any issues. So like we make pitch long again, and we also can control the start angle. It means where the spiral starts on this circle, we can make it any other, but it doesn't matter for us. And we can control the number of revolutions. For example, if we make 2 revolutions here, it will be too much for us, because we don't want knurling to go here. We just want it to go up to here, up to this point. And I adjusted that 1.82 is a pretty good number. You can make, for example, 1.81. Oh, no, that's not what we need. 1.80. Is it okay? No, it's 1.80. Okay, it's right up to this point. Right up to this point. Let's make it 1.79. 1.79. Okay, perfect. It ends here, so we want it to end here. It looks like a proper spiral because it's rotated, you know, very slowly, and that's what we need. We will keep it like this, okay? And now we need like a rectangle here to make a swept cut along the spiral. This one is ready. We start a new sketch for our rectangle. We press here on this face again, new sketch, and we built a rectangle. And as you can see, unfortunately, when we start a new sketch, we don't see the spiral. We would like to start a new sketch or like here, just so the center of the rectangle will be here. But once I start drawing something, I don't see the spiral, but it's not a problem. We will figure out. So I want the center of this small rectangle to be like precisely on the spiral. So let's start it. Escape. We need very small rectangle. Once again, I need to draw it. Click. Okay. Escape. Now it's done. The only thing that I want it to be like very small, And let's make the situation when the center of rectangle coincides with the start of point of the spiral. We come here, press center, hold Ctrl, and now we need to find spiral somewhere, and we can find it only here. Open this history tree and here, and there should be option pierce. Once again, escape, do not select anything, this one, hold Ctrl and press here on helix spiral, and there is an option pierce. It means that this spiral will pierce through this point. Let's see how it goes. Okay, yeah, perfect. Now it has a proper location, and it should be a proper knurling. The only thing that we can make this rectangle a little bit smaller. It seems like a little bit large, yeah, because we should have, on the picture you saw that it's like very shallow cuts, They do not almost affect the width of this barrel. So, okay, this one is done, and we perform features. Let's exit the sketch, very important to exit the sketch, features, and we go to swept cut. This sketch is pre-selected because we were in it, and here as a profile we choose our helix spiral, and we can see that we get a swept cut along our barrel, and it goes like this. Perfect. Let's apply it, and you can see that it's performed. Of course, we can make it a little bit smoother. We can make like fillet here, but not necessary for us. It's good for us, but the only thing that we have many of these spirals here, many of them, not one of them. So we will multiply them by circular pattern, and we can multiply this feature because this cut sweep is a feature, and we can add it here. And direction should be any circle, and maybe this one. And I already adjusted some proper amount of these spirals, but you can adjust it here, or you can, for example, see by the picture. If you open the picture in the internet and ask yourself what is like the angle between them, between these cuts, I assume that it may be like 5 or 10 degrees, the angle between them. So here we should do pretty much the same. Let's try to make it, maybe 10 degrees and 36. Isn't it too much? Let's look. So yeah, it looks properly. So once again, we use the reference from the real world, and that's why we will get something that looks real. The only thing that when we multiply a feature, there should be 36 copies of these cuts, and for Solidworks, it's pretty difficult operation. We see the preview, and once again, I think it will take maybe 1 or 2 minutes to perform it. And once you do, in barbells, there is a similar stuff. When you hold barbell or dumbbell, it has this, special structure just to make a grip very well. And in SolidWorks, you can make something that is called knurling for barbells, and it's like a pretty similar one. And it is a rifling. It is for the weapon. It's also with a swept cut. You can look what is a knurling in the internet. It's a pretty similar thing, but it's for sport stuff to make yourself a good grip. And usually when you do this stuff, it takes a lot of time for SolidWorks to perform the operation, and sometimes you should be patient and wait for 2 minutes. The only thing very important, when this operation is performed and when you are finished, sometimes for SolidWorks it will be difficult to work with this kind of model. You see, it looks nice, it looks good. Maybe the spiral itself should be a little bit with a bigger pitch. Once again, it looks for me that it's rotating like too fast, and once again, I will not do it just for purposes of saving our time. But if you want to change something, everything started from this spiral, and you can make it like edit feature, and you can make this pitch larger, this pitch like bigger, and the amount of revolutions is smaller because you don't want to cut up to this point, only up to this. And once you exit this one, everything will be like everything will be counted again, but it will take you a couple of minutes to perform, because if you change the spiral, and based on this spiral we got this swept cut, it will be also changed, and immediately this one will be also changed as soon as you change this, because it's like a parent, it is a child, it is a parenting stuff, child stuff, and SolidWorks will take a couple of minutes to perform it. So the main idea will be that for some computers and in some cases it may be a little bit difficult for SolidWorks to perform graphics like this, and once it's completed you will have some problems with your display, so you will be rotating with some kind of lagging. Here you will see that it's difficult for SolidWorks to always show you this one, because it's like a difficult structure, and in order to work faster, if you have some difficult part of your assembly, you should do this thing. You should click on it, and you should, for example, change transparency, make it transparent, or you can, for example, just hide some elements of it. You can, for example, open solid bodies here, and this one solid body, we don't want to like make a pressure on our graphics card, and we can hide it for a while, and you can work with your assembly. You know that this part is here, but it's not reflected, because once it's reflected, you have issues with your graphics, your computer works slowly, and it is like very good thing when you have a lot of difficult parts of your assembly, just to hide some of them temporarily, and then when you need them, you make them visible again, and you make it visible again. Perfect. So we exit from this one, and you can see we have a rifling here. Yeah, if it was like a real rifling, we would have probably a little bit bigger pitch here, probably maybe 3 or 4 times bigger pitch. And this is it. We can do the last minor adjustment to our barrel, and we will finish our design. Usually, this barrel, it has a special ending with some sort of gaps. Probably it's connected with the heating effect of the bullet, and there is a special kind of gaps here at the end. So we will cut the portion of our barrel and we will remodel it. So let's do it. Again, we work with barrel, this one, and we need edit part. And what we will do, that we will cut portion at first. We need a plane, so it is a planar face. Let's click on it and let's make reference geometry plane here. And it offers us to make a plane at a certain distance, but we will make 0, 0. Okay, this plane is ready. And now we drag this, we can extend this plane. We can drag it by the corner by pressing the Ctrl, and we need to decide which portion to cut. So we can use our mouse wheel to rotate. So to understand which portion should we cut, we can cut like this portion of our barrel, not very small, not very big, like this one. Okay, perfect. And we press check mark. Okay, so we will use this plane to cut a portion. We use split tool. You can find it here. Make sure you search among commands and you'll find split tool. And it's already plane pre-selected, but once again, you can find it here. You can add your plane as a trim tool. You press button cut part, and it shows you different solid bodies that appeared here. 1 and 2, you need both of them. Both of them should be checked, so you need both of them to be left. So what happens here, you cut it by 2 solid bodies. There will be 2 separate, and if it's a separate solid body, like this one, you will be able to work with it separately. And that's why the point of this cut. And make sure that this check mark is not here. Consume cut bodies, we do not need it. Do not need, so let's go. Okay. Perfect, now it's done. And with this one, we want to completely remodel it. We want to just make a different part from it. Let's make it a little bit wider, and you can make it wider immediately with the tool move face. It allows you very quickly to move any face on any distance. Now it offers you to move it face like on 1 centimeter. No, it's too much for us. Let's make it 0.3, just a small extension like this. And I don't want any rifling here. I want it to be like a complete cylinder. Let's make it a complete cylinder. So what I want here, maybe let's start a sketch, and I want here to build a circle. Now it's like a circular edge, it's not a circle, so we make a convert entities here, and we will make it extrusion just to fill this emptiness. Extrude boss base, and we need an extrusion, not a regular one here and there. We need it up to the surface. So up to surface, and up to which surface? Up to this one. Perfect. Now it will like separate material. The only thing that I don't want to make you like merge result. If you make merge result, this material will be merged again with this material, and it will be one solid body. No, I just want it like separate material to work with. So let's make a check which solid bodies do we have here. So split. It's like our part, and in the folder there are several solid bodies that are here. So this one is okay. This one is okay, and what is this one? It's boss extrude. So this one we do not need anymore. Let's just hide it. So we don't need it. We will not delete it to avoid any errors. So this one will be the body that we work with. Okay. So and all the other operations will be performed for this one. So let's start our modeling. I want it to be like a circular part, but in the same time I want it to be like a rectangular part. So I want to have it like rectangular cuts here. So it will be partially circle, partially rectangle. I need to make new sketch here. And once again, I want here a circle, and I want here the center of the circle, but there is nothing there. And this circular edge is not a circle on our sketch, but we can pre-select it, and we can press convert entities, and now it's a circle. And now when I hover over this circle, I can see the center. Let's make this line. Let's make the other line here, here, and let's make degrees between them 30 degrees, and I will reflect it to the other side 30 degrees, and I wanted in general this cut to go like at 60 degrees. So I do like mirror entities. I will want to mirror this one with respect to this one. It's done. And now I make a rectangle, like a corner rectangle. It starts here and it comes here. Okay, Perfect, now it's done. And I want to use this rectangle to cut, but you know, be careful when you make extruded cuts. You always want to end up with the sketch that will cut for you. And you can see here we have this redundant circle. We used it as an auxiliary one. It was like a construction geometry. So before we do anything, it's a good idea just to trim unnecessary things so SolidWorks will work properly, because if you have a lot of different stuff in your sketch, it may understand in the wrong way what it needs to extrude. So let's, once we left only with our rectangle, let's make an extruded cut. And okay, you see it says that it's two different shapes because accidentally we left with this arc. Again, I go to, I'm inside the sketch still, I go to trim tools and I want to cut away all of this stuff. Perfect, so it seems it should be clean now. So extruded cut, and it still considers it as two separate contours. Nevertheless, we select both of them. We select both of them, and we want cut like this for a portion of our solid body. Sorry for navigating issues. So there is, okay, perfect. And we want several cuts here, and instead of doing them manually, remember that every cut is a feature, and you can multiply features with a circular pattern, and that's what we do, circular pattern. The feature was pre-selected. You see, I just pre-select this one. If there is nothing here, I can open this construction manager tree. You can see it by pressing C on your keyboard, C, and you can put cut extrude here, and the direction should be any point or any circle or any circular face. And you can see I need only 4 of them and equal spacing like around this one. So if you do the same settings, you will get the same result. And it already looks like the part that we need. The only thing that it should be hollow inside, there should be nothing. So let's apply shell function and delete 2 faces here. So let's make a like preliminary save, because sometimes when you have difficult geometry, shell function may work, you know, with some issues. Let's make a save. When you do some shell functions, if it's like a difficult geometry, now it's simple, but when the geometry is difficult, shell function may cause your computer to start thinking a lot, and sometimes you have to restart SolidWorks. And in this case, it makes sense not to lose overlaid information. So before shell, just save everything you have. And so let's do it. We apply it to this solid body. Here it is. We go to the shell function, and again, we want to delete this face, and we want to delete this face as well. And the thickness of walls we want very small, maybe 0.2. Okay, show preview. Okay, the preview is now here. It means that everything should work fine. Okay, that's what we needed. Okay, you can see how it looks like, but the only thing that we need to make here is cuts. So let's make a sketch, and we need the 2 circular cuts on this one. So let's use this one, this circle, okay, and escape, and we will use features, extruded cut. Both of them should cut completely our model. Okay, and here we want to do the same again. Start a sketch, and we build 2 circles here. We try to make them like very similar, very similar. We will not follow like any difficult pattern, so we'll just make it visual, make it very simple for us. Okay, escape, and another circle here. Just a second. Escape. Perfect. So let's make them approximately equal, not necessarily like completely equal, and approximately at the same locations as other circles, like this. And aren't these circles too small? We can make it a little bit larger now. We will adjust everything. Again, this one is finished, feature, extruded cut, and we have it here. Perfect. And as you can see, both of these extruded cut, they are based on the sketch. We can press here, and we can edit this sketch, and we can adjust the positions of these circles. We can put it here, maybe here, and we can make this one a little bit larger like this, and this one a little bit larger like this. And once we exit the sketch, we will see the new cut based on this one. And I can do the same with this again. This is new extrude cut. Okay, it's edit sketch, and we can edit our sketch here. Again, reposition it a little bit, make it a little bit closer to the center, make it a little bit larger, not very large, but maybe like this one. Okay, Perfect. We could use some sort of, references here. We could use this middle line and to make these circles equal. But once we do like free modeling, it's okay for us to do everything like this. It's not a problem at all. Just a second. And once I made the circles here, I want to make sure, just rotate a little bit, that they will be in the same positions as this. Okay, perfect. So we exit the sketch. And you can see now we have something that looks like a proper ending. The only thing here, you can obviously see that there is like no material here. And how can we connect it? Because that's obviously not a proper connection. So there are many ways to do here, to do it. So the idea is that we can build a circle here and we can connect this circle with this edge by loft. So let's make a plane here and we press on it and we go to reference geometry, plane. And it offers us to build a plane on a distance, but we need this distance to be 0. Okay, this one. And we drag this plane by its corner by holding Ctrl, like this. Okay, and we need a circle here. Let's go to this plane and start a sketch. And we need here intersection curve, because intersection of this face and this plane is actually curve, is actually what we need. Intersection curve, you can find this tool here, but I already have it. And you just need to check this face. So now we have intersection curve. It is a separate sketch now. It is a separate sketch, the circle. And we need to get all of this also as a separate sketch to be used in loft. We can use only edges, but for our convenience, let's exit the sketch and we start a new sketch here. Just let's convert this part to a separate sketch. Now it's just selected face. We just make it convert entities and it shows us these elements, but we don't need these elements. We need to only outer part. So we just trim away all the unnecessary stuff. Trim away, make sure you just trim away all the internal parts. Now it looks like good. It looks like we are left only with an external one. Perfect. And we exit the sketch. We should be like in 3-dimensional space, and we go not lofted boss base, because we don't want loft between them. Loft between them will fill everything with material from here to here, and the barrel also will be filled with material. That's we don't want it, because it will spoil our knurling here. If we fill this loft with material, our knurling will be gone. That's not what we want. But we can do instead of that, we can connect them with surfaces, and we need lofted surface and no preselection. I just want to do it myself. This one, and it already picked up the proper sketch, and this one. Okay, it looks good. So it looks like a proper connection, but the only thing that it's infinitely thin now. It's just a surface, and you can see now that there is no material inside, but we can thicken this surface. We can press here, thicken, surface is selected, and we select this one, and it shows us several previews, and you can see it's circle, it's thickened from to both sides, inside and outside. It's thickened inside and it's thickened outside. We need inside, but not at such a large distance, but maybe 0.2. Just a second, it's not what we need. Accidentally pressed different. 0.2. Okay, let's press enter. We see the preview that some material appeared here, and it looks like it's enough for us. Let's try. We can rebuild it if necessary. So it's thickened. And you can see now there is some material, 0.2. Let's make it 0.3, just in case. So 0.3, just to get more material here. Okay. Will it go inside our knurling or not? Because it looks like it will affect, yeah. If we do this sort of thicken, it already affects our knurling. It should be not that thick, maybe 0.25. Let's see. Okay, there is something again on our preview, so it already affects our knurling. Let's make 0.22. Now it's good. Now it's good, perfect. So we applied. Wait a little bit for the result, and now we have like a normal connection, thickened connection between this barrel and this part, and it already looks like a good ending of a weapon. You can see something like this in real models, and we can exit this part. And you can see what we have. So basically our rifle is ready. Look, it looks much better. It's way better like this. You can see it looks pretty real, like rifling, good ending like this. and we can a little bit look at it. You can close it, and you can close it. You can zoom, and you can look at your design from different angles. Of course, if you want to make it perfect, you can do many other different adjustments. You can also, once again, adjust the internal part. You can, for example, now this design, this main body, it's made by steel, and if it's made by steel like in real life completely, it will be super heavy. In this case, you obviously do not need steel in this area, okay? You can make just it hollow inside, like in this area. So you can adjust it to make it to be lighter. So this part, you just leave here, this portion, you just leave here some thickness of walls, but you can make it hollow inside, for example, and you can do a lot of adjustment to make it like, basically you can build here a real life rifle, whether it has like pretty difficult construction, but I think for visual purposes, we have a pretty good result here. So thank you for watching. I hope this information was useful to you, and wish you happy